Hello, welcome. This is the 15th episode of The Mental Breakdown. And my next guest, a colleague of mine from the university teaching English, Dr. Phillip Galloway. We talk about a lot of things, maybe everything at one point or another. And these areas mostly covered sociology, psychology, culture, and what it's like around the world, global politics, everything, right? I think we covered everything. So take a gander at either the snippets version, where I try to keep it to 10 minutes or less, or the loquacious version that lasts for 3.5 hours or so. So here we go. Hey, Dr. Phillip Galloway.
Yes, Dr. Chris David.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
How's
Excuse the hairstyle.
I like it. I love it.
It's growing back.
Yeah. Grow a nice long beard.
I know. I saw that. So bloody hell, I thought, once upon a time you had nothing because you're going about all your hair, and then next minute it's like caveman.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations. I'll have to say online. Congratulations on getting your doctorate. You worked really hard for that. So
yeah. Thanks.
well done, buddy.
Yeah.
Nice.
No. Yeah,
Great relief. Yeah.
We're definitely shared that educational journey on all levels, teaching and learning, and I think that's an important thing to think about. I mean, I think Einstein said it, right? Never stop learning, and it's true. I mean, that's key for sure to just kind of making sense of everything.
Even now, though, Chris, even now they're on about Einstein. He's always, relative theory, theory of relativity and all this bit of, But even now they're starting to pick faults out of it. They're saying, "Oh, you can only do so much with it now," and this quantum physics, and all of a sudden he's getting pushed to one side, and some other dude's coming in.
Oh yeah.
But I like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Brian Cox, American Neil deGrasse Tyson, the black physicist. Great guy. And Brian Cox. I do find it fascinating, though, to think that, considering who we are in the universe, less than 150 years ago or something like that, we've only got one universe. Now they reckon there's about 2 trillion. 2 trillion. That's a little bit more than one.
Yeah.
And
I just think it's the same universe. We just, if there's more than, if there's another universe, then it's still what my original definition of the universe actually included. That it's just, we didn't, if they've discovered anything more, that's still contained. To me, that's still okay. Our perception of the universe has just changed, but the universe is still everything in my, like, that's can't have more than one universe. I don't, that's seems logically impossible to me. But
it seems like it's almost like, well, it's snowing here, and then it stops in this little part of the county. Then there's more snow. It's still snow. It's still snowed over the area.
Yeah.
But not. It's like it rains here sometimes, and over there it's not raining. So maybe it's something like that.
Yeah. No. Like, I mean, like layers of, like, at that point, space and time doesn't matter anymore, because it's just like you have layers of universes, and they're all simultaneously.
They're flat, aren't they? According to Brian Cox, the universe is flat, and it's only the matter, like Earth or whatever, that bends it, and then the gravitational pull is because it goes. I don't understand it really. The moon, I think the moon's moving away from us, I think, like an inch every year, or something.
But that would throw everything off, right? It's all like the size. I mean, everything in inch adds up. Inch a year adds up for sure. I mean. That'll
the insignificance.
So let's I mean, of course, most of the people, so these podcasts this is the 15th podcast now that I've done, and they're really gratifying for myself. I get to find out more things. I get to meet up with old friends that I haven't talked to just the idea that it's going to be posted kind of, I mean, maybe it makes us maybe not get too grotesque as we might at times, but what makes it really interesting is that it's been connecting people. So people that know both of us most likely are going to be more interested in this than somebody who knows one of us or doesn't know both of us. And then but at the same time, not everybody will. So I would like to kind of establish who you and I are together, how we met. So I'm going to say a little bit about that. Just coming to, I've been teaching at an elementary school for a couple of years in Phuket. Some people know my story a little bit. Ended up teaching at the university, which you had at that time already been teaching. You were one of the either the longest one there, or I think you.
Yeah, well, I am still at the moment as I speak. Yeah, I think, you know, I think you and I both have continued our education. I think just because I think we are genuinely interested in knowledge and expanding that, because I think it makes you a better person, a more knowledgeable person can deal with differences or nuances, and you know, and can sort of see it in a broader peripheral vision. Because these narrow-minded, I did cultural awareness, my doctorate, and you know, you and I are from individualistic societies, America being one of the most individualistic societies. Although I beg to differ that with the issues they're having right now with the woke culture, freedom of speech is being lost, and everyone, you know, these woke culture people now. I think I don't have a problem with someone being who they want to be, but don't expect everybody else to, you know, to accept you, because you know, we're so diverse in culturally, you know, it's not always easy to be always accepted in a certain community. You know, you say, well, I'm a human. Yes, I know, but there's a lot more to humane people or groups of people in the humanity wise, that the culture is not only just the language, it's the food, it's the clothing, the music, the festivals, and you know, you've got all this that builds up. That's why I call it the essence of language. In as much to say, I am a student, present simple, right? Fair enough. But it's what makes that person a student. How do they become a student? And saying, you know, well, I'm a student, you know, and how you say it and what does it mean to you. So there's all this individualism ideology that goes into language, and that's what language is. It makes us human. But the paradigm, language causes more problems than anything. Lack of communication, misinformation, disinformation. Oh, I just thought, didn't bother to ask, wasn't listening. It breaks humanity up, and yet it's what makes us human.
Yeah. No, it is interesting to look at it as that. Yeah, I mean, we created it to communicate, but in so many ways communication is lost because of it. And there are, I mean, there are deeper connections in some ways that aren't met by language, you know, just like, you know, lending a hand or something. I mean, there's certain mannerisms and activities that actually can go across all cultures, and just basic humanity, you know, love for one another and care. And you can sometimes see those when you see like, you know, little clips like that, it just breaks your heart, you know, sometimes. I mean, in a good way, where you see just genuine kindness across cultures. Somebody, you know,
I mean, as a psychologist, as you're a psychologist, I'm more of a sociologist, to be honest, cultural awareness and, you know, society. And you talk about symbolism, like a wedding ring, it's a symbol. You know, signs, you know, hand gestures, symbolism. You got, you know, with you know, the Max Weber, he went into, I think he went into symbolism. Auguste Comte. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy. His name's gone out of my head, but
Emmanuel Kant.
Yeah, he was the original functionalism. He does functionalism. What was his name? French guy, Emile. Oh no, it'll come to me in a minute. You've got
Yeah.
Karl Marx, who did the communism, but he did conflict.
Oh,
And
Engel.
then
Or
what's the guy's
his name?
name?
Engel,
Yeah,
Frankie Engel or something.
it will come to me soon.
Yeah.
But there's three major parts of sociology that make humanity and society. How we function, symbolism, you like to say the sign language and the little winks and the little nods and
Mhm.
things that you got to be within the group to know that. And
Yeah.
then you've got the conflict. I'm not a communist or anything, but do you know a guy called Thomas Sowell?
Thomas Sowell. No, I'm not sure.
Oh,
No,
man,
tell me.
African American. He is originally an economist, and he looks into the many parts of society, and he talks, and he's got a dozen or so books, if not 15 or so. And one of his books is Rednecks, black rednecks and white something or other. I'm not too good at my memory of my books at the moment, but he talks about reality, what slavery really was, American AAVE, African American Vernacular English. They're claiming that we can't use it. Well, hang on, it's white man's language. It came from the southwest of England when they moved over, and they got put down to the south, and the black guys. Not talking about slavery at the moment, but the black community took it upon themselves and started to emulate, and the language came from them. It's like your children grow up speaking like you or have same mannerisms. No difference there. So they say that it's African American vernacular English, and it's not.
It's
It
just
was
saying it came from Britain. It's a dialect, like a British dialect. I mean, I know there's
absolutely
so many
100%.
dialects. I mean, I guess it makes sense. It wasn't African English, right? I mean, it has to be. They had to have got the English from somebody speaking English,
Yeah,
right? I
exactly.
mean, initially, and then, I mean, of course, as generations go on, it becomes more and more their own, and then, but yeah, I mean,
Thomas,
it has to be
check him
based.
out. Check him out, Chris,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
Thomas Sowell, he does about the economics. He does about the housing, the Jim Crow years, and we all know that. I remember when I was a kid watching the black and white minstrel show. Never thought nothing of it because I had black friends, and I never thought anything of it. I didn't think, oh, it's a bit out of order, it's a bit racist, and I think there's more trouble in the world now regarding to not so much. I mean, systemic racism. They go on and bang on about it. The white Southerners in America were dissed from the northern parts of America. They were treated exactly the same as any other Southerner, regardless of color. Now, that's what I think you should have a look at Thomas Sowell. He's absolutely an amazing guy. He's a researcher. He he tells the truth. It's what's not taught in schools. It's not, saying about the white man, it's white man. I'm getting a bit tired of saying it's white man privileged. Where does this come from?
So,
Do you feel privileged?
uh, well, as an American, I think there's an American privilege, a native English speaking privilege for sure, right? I mean, come over to Thailand and
Yeah,
get a job teaching English. If you were, and regardless of your color,
that's right. Yeah,
African American come over here teach English, no problem. But if you're from Nigeria and you want to come, no matter how good your English is, you come over to Thailand, you're not getting a job
yeah.
teaching English
Same in
at a
China.
university, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So there is a huge privilege I get, but yeah, I see it as being an American
But
privilege.
that's not our countries creating that stigma. It's other countries who are probably systematically racist anyway, or their culture hasn't had this mixture of Europeans and Africans and all, whereas you and I come from multicultural societies. We've had a long time to get used to each other and practice, even though it's not perfect. But I never had any issues whatsoever when I was growing up with Dallas Williams, Lloyd Crook. A few of my mates, it never crossed my mind to saying, well, you're black, so you must be different. Well, yes, in what sense? culturally perhaps, but I wish, was it Morgan Freeman? He said to this Jewish guy, wonderful piece. He said, the Jewish guy said about Black History Month.
Mhm.
And he said, why should you think that I want to put Black history into a month? Black history is American history. And I thought that was a brilliant. I said, have you got a Jewish month? He said, no. Have you got a white month or something? He said, well, I'm Jewish. He said, okay, do you have a Jewish month? He said, well, no. He said, well, I don't want one either. And I thought it was brilliant, because that is exactly how you tackle people keep mentioning color. Who cares what color you are? My missus got beautiful brown skin. My daughter's brown. So, and I like, UFC, wonderful. UFC, Dana White. You used to be in the cage fighting business. Dana White, and some reports said, Israel Adesanya, using the racial slurs, and Dana White says, what racial slurs? Using the N-word. And he said, well, he's black. He's black. Who cares? Why does it bother you? If he wants to use the N-word, whatever, fine, then that's up to him. I think it's an endearment. It's to recognize each other's position in their country where they use it. Obviously, they do it as an endearment. It's like us saying, all right, buddy, how's it going? All right, mucker. That's an English word. All right, mucker. You're a mate. It's no different. And I really get annoyed with, I'm glad I'm not in England anymore. And America does annoy me, not because the majority of people are fine, but this continuous, the African Americans being continually having this ideology that they're hard done by, and they keep blaming everything on slavery. It's like, no, Africans enslaved Africans, Indians enslaved Indians, the Chinese enslaved more than anybody else. And what we used to do, we used to go and pick them up, but we never used to pick them. The Africans used to pick them, and then we would ship them over. Okay, it's not good, but keep pointing the finger and saying it's a white man's thing, and it's only for one culture, the African American, and the white man took us there. No, this is incorrect. And this is what's causing some of the problems up today. And slavery was 150 years ago. I'm not still 200 years ago. I'm not saying it's good, Chris.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, there were pathways to abolish slavery, and I think England is possibly the first country that did.
And they spent millions and lost lives and fought wars. The Spanish, the Portuguese, stopping them from going over. But none of that's mentioned. You know why? Because they want to keep the black people in America, or the suffering they have to keep. And they continue this suffering, and they live by it.
Oh yeah,
and
I don't think
Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton. I'm the hero. I'm your the person you must listen to. And these guys do not ever mention the true facts. That's what Thomas Sowell does. He's an amazing guy.
Well, that's what it takes too, because it's generally not, from my perspective, and it's not coming from the black community. It's coming from the white elite that are kind of spewing these ideologies that have plagued our nations. And unfortunately, when white people speak out against it, it can sound racist, perhaps, and it is black people recognizing that, hey, this is not actually what's going on, and pointing the finger back at the source of this hate, really. And that's what it is. It is hate. And it's interesting to see. So you mentioned some stuff about America, and it's weird how something spilled over into Europe sometimes. There were riots during the George Floyd incident, and then it all of a sudden it's in the streets of London or Paris.
Exactly.
That definitely seems like some sort of coordinated, unauthentic control mechanism or something going on. But of course, you weren't in Europe at that time. But I mean, we kind of saw it. It's weird how things kind of. I almost feel like it's. I don't know. I mean, who knows what sort of
It's one of the few
forces
things that's
behind
gone
it.
from England to America rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
We had in Moss Side and in Britain and that, and he preempted Ferguson, but again Ferguson, and then you go, what comes into my head? BLM, Black Lives Matter, and there are now. I'm so pleased there are now more and more African Americans. In fact, Lloyd Mayweather said, "I'm not an African, I'm an American." And again, you know, and I thought that was perfect. I'm not an African. I'm not from Africa.
Yeah.
You know, it's like me saying I'm a Scottish Englishman. I was born in England. That doesn't make me Scottish. My roots, heritage, my Y chromosome, Scottish. My surname, Galloway, Scottish. Redhead, well, Scottish. Irish, more likely, come from Ireland to Scotland. But I don't claim to be Scottish. I'm very proud of my roots. And Lloyd Mayweather says, I'm not an African American. I'm an American. I'm just like Morgan Freeman. I'll see you as Chris. You see me as Philip. Whatever. I don't see you as a black man or a white man. And that's the problem. Keep mentioning color. What's it matter? And I think that's one of the biggest problems. You know, it's like, oh, I bought a white car. Oh, you're racist, though. You don't like black cars. Well, no, I like white cars. I can see when it's dirty. I don't know, you know, I'm just making it up, but
Yeah.
it always has to stem back into this color thing, as if, like, you know, just because I'm white, I've got more privileges of you. My mum was a cleaner. My dad was a factory worker. I didn't have a bike till I was 14. I ended up in a factory and lost a finger because I had no qualifications. I went to a crappy school. You know, we didn't get a car until I was early teens. You know, we used to go on caravan holidays. Where's the privilege there? You know, and that's what annoys me. Not every white foreigner in Thailand is rich, and their perception is that it's let's spin the tables. Every foreigner, doesn't matter what color, you're rich. Why? Why do you think that? Where all this misinformation or even disinformation to throw you off the track and to make you start hating other people? And they do it so beautifully well in America. I can't speak for England, but England's got to be just like America because we are like that. We are like that. We've fought together. We've fought against each other, but very often, not very often, but we have fought how many wars together? You know, and 100,000 black West Indians and Jamaicans fought for the king and queen or whatever. And that's why they're allowed to live there now. The Irish got put on. I remember when I was a kid, the Irish got worse treatment than the black people. My best mate, Tommy Riley, all my mates are Irish. Where are you going? See Tommy? Going to see him for? You know, it's all of a sudden, Mick McGarrity, pro-IRA. You know, and so I grew up with some sort of hatred, but it was more of the Irish got hated and got put down because of the IRA. So the IRA spoilt it for everybody else, like BLM, Black Lives Matter. What have they done for the black community?
What is IRA?
Irish Republic Army.
Okay, Irish. Okay.
You see, you had the Orange men, the Protestants. William of Orange came from Holland. Go over there, and that's how it all started. And the Republic of Ireland, which is the Southern Ireland, Dublin being the capital, they don't want anything to do with Britain. The United Kingdom is literally England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
The southern part is Republic, and of course they're the Catholics. And we had issues, Catholics, Christianity, religion's supposed to be peaceful, but it's all about you're not a Catholic, I'm a Protestant, and they always have. It's just ridiculous. I don't see, and that's why I don't like religion for a start. It separates people. I know a lot about religion because you've got to if you do sociology.
Yeah. So how did you? I mean, sounds like. How did you come to Thailand? I know we've talked about it before, but I actually don't. I need a little refresher on exactly. Yeah. How did you end up here?
Oh,
Had you traveled other places first, or?
I came. I was in a managerial job, and it went well. But in the end, I was working, and there were. Now this is not a put down on lesbians, but they happen to be. lesbians, and I just felt that they were the type of lesbians that hated men, and they were management. And because I was doing very well in the management position,
Wait, so this is still
these
in England?
this is in Royal Mail in the
Okay.
postal service. And I went from the production line to the delivery office. So I went up in the scale. And these two women weren't liked. They were pretty tough on people. They used their power a little bit. And I just got on with my job and everything else. And we were joking one day. And then someone said, oh, you know, I get all tickly when someone does this to my shoulders. And they were just joking about and what have you. And then we had this woman, an area manager, bit of a top knob, yeah. She came into our office, and then we were sort of chatting and, you know, talking. And I made a joke saying, oh, and I forgot her name now, which I choose to forget, doesn't really matter. And I went to go, oh, you know, she likes this. And I never touched her. I just did that. And she went like this. And then Judy McFarlane was the name, the top jockey. I knew nothing about this. She said, what was all, you know, she must have said, what's all that about? She said, oh, we're just joking. And so she took it upon herself that she didn't like my actions. And yet I never touched her.
Yeah.
It was suggestive. I went in the next morning, 5:30, delivery office. And Laurie Tinson, my boss, said, Philip, office. I said, oh, well, can I just get some of the lads and, you know, postal workers sorted? No, office now, he said. Jesus, you know. Went in, and he says, Phil, he said, so I've got to suspend you. I said, look, Laurie, it's like 5:30 in the morning. It's no time for joking. Can I get, it's not being serious. I said, what? He said, yes, sexual harassment. And I went, what? I almost fell to the floor, and I said, whoa, get, and I forgot, I said, get the union bloke in here now. And then he said, I said, but sexual harassment, what are we talking about? With who? What? When? Apparently, Linda McFarlane put a complaint in of me supposedly not behaving like the manager I should be behaving. Yeah, I was sharing a joke before she came in. So she never got the context. And I doubt it very much that they said, yeah, we were just joking. It's okay. I'm not offended. Didn't stick up for me.
Yeah.
I was escorted off the premises there and then.
But that was a suspension, but you just said, forget it and left? Or, I mean.
No, I was escorted off the premises. I had to be suspended. Eventually, I didn't get my job. I lost my job. I said to the name will come in. The union rep. His name's just gone because it's been almost it's 23 years ago, whatever, 24 years ago. So Boswell, I think his name was, something like that. And I said to him, I said, can you not do anything? He said, no, she's a top dog. And she didn't like what she saw. She didn't think the behavior, it was not warranted. You know, and I think, I never did fuss. I didn't do anything.
Doesn't matter, yeah.
Couldn't get it. That was it. 3 women against 1 man. I'm not saying that's probably the case, but just didn't help. And yet I didn't get I didn't get the chance to defend myself. I didn't get the chance to discuss it. But anyway, it was a horrible situation. However, I wanted to take a holiday, and I came out here in 2000. Me and Harry, good mate of mine back in Oxford, loved it. I think we had 3 weeks here. We loved it. Bangor Road, you know, and all this business. We thought we'd died and gone to heaven, you know, with all the entertainment.
Yes.
And then I went back, and for about 2.5 years, no, excuse me, about three years.
I want to go back.
I was continually thinking about it all the time. I just couldn't stop talking and thinking about it. And then the tsunami hit, 2004.
Oh, that's right.
2004, December 26th. And I'd met a French guy, Jacques, lovely guy. And I could speak quite good French then. And one French guy said, you know, you French? Where are you from, France? I said, no, I'm English. Oh, you jamais anglais. I was like, yeah, I am, seriously. And then eventually I worked, I saved money, and then and then someone, because I want to get back, someone said, why don't you go and teach English? And to this day, I don't know who it was. And I'm sure
Yeah.
it was my best mate, Bob. And I went, yeah, right. So I looked into that. TEFL, 120 hour, Phuket, checked it out, came out here in the March, went to see my friend, in Patong, see if his business was all right and everything else. And you could see, the remnants of the tsunami, and then
Yeah.
Khao got trashed. Eventually, I came out here, saw the TEFL school. It was legit. I went back, and in the October 23rd, I landed and I started my course in November 2005. And basically, the rest is history. I worked on a graduate certificate, management studies, because I wanted a degree level. Oh, shucks, I shouldn't have done that. That's my missus. She's the only one that goes ding dong online. Excuse me. But I got a graduate certificate in management studies because I did a year and a half management. I sold the idea that I've done a year and a half teaching, self-management. Robert Gordon University says, all right, you're in. You get on the postgraduate program, just the BA level, not an honors or anything like that, just the BA level. Once I got that was it. I got my PSU job with it.
Okay, so you never taught at the elementary. Do you want to take that? You want to call her back or write her back? We can put a pause or
no. She just she just basically I said I'm on a podcast and she's just probably saying hi or whatever. But she's staying at work tonight with my daughter.
Okay.
Lydia. But no, then I started once I got here 2000 sorry, when I got here 2005. Did I say 2009? I think I might have done. I don't know. 2005, I got here. Oh, I did. I did 2005. And then I got the job. Then I started to think about doing a master's in TESOL. And then I think I'd already done that by the time you got there. I'd done that in 2011. So, and then it took me another 10 years. And then I knew I did it because it was academic inflation. I knew things were going on and I knew that we're going to up the stakes.
Yeah.
And now I did my doctorate, finished just over 2 years ago, 12th of May 21, and COVID kicked in. So a lot of it was online. I did action research, cultural awareness, teaching methodology, and here I am.
Absolutely, yeah. That's I mean, yeah. There's a lot of similarities that I had. I mean, coming over here and yeah, most of my education. I mean, I had my bachelor's degree. Took that the TEFL certificate.
Was you doing your master's when you were working here?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I finished my master's. I thought I needed a master's to teach at the university, so I was working on my master's. I was just came over to Thailand to do Muay Thai, basically. Initially.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with Thailand, wanted to stay, and then I was able to teach English with the TEFL certificate and my bachelor's degree. And actually get a real work permit. Working for, like most of my colleagues were doing visa runs. Like they would still hire you even without a bachelor's degree if you had the TEFL certificate, but you couldn't get the work permit. And then I was like, okay, I actually enjoy this. Talk to my wife. I mean, I at the time, of course, just my girlfriend, and then I was kind of saying like, I like teaching. I mean, I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do. I think I'd like to teach. I had always wanted to be a professor, like a philosophy professor, because that's what my bachelor's is in. So I was like, I want to teach at the university. And I just assumed I needed a master's degree. I didn't ask. So I started it. And then I met somebody and they said, oh, no, you could apply. I mean, you could do it with the bachelor's degree. So I applied. And when I applied, I was already like halfway through the master's degree. So that helped. I let them know that I was doing it, and they still try to do that a little bit, like because you get a pay raise when you get the master's degree. But so that was obviously
you
nice.
You lose what you've gained, and you start again. I lost 2,000. I no, excuse me. I was on about 30, about 34, 35. No, not that much. I was on about 32, 33.
And then it goes back to 30 plus 5. So it's like, And we're talking in
Yeah.
bucks. You made
No, I'd lost a couple of grand. I lost about 2
yeah,
grand or something because I'd accrued
yeah,
some salary over and above the 30, and then it was
yeah,
then
yeah,
taken off me,
yeah,
and then I had another couple of years before I started getting the master's level.
yeah,
So but
yeah.
but
That's
no, I remember you doing your masters, and then you talked about you're doing your doctorate, and I thought, yeah, it's good. And I wasn't thinking to do my doctorate back then, and
so
I
I
don't know
helped
what.
inspire you. Is that what you're saying?
I think you may well have done,
Yeah,
because I thought, well, because once you get the bug,
yeah,
and then see, and that's it. I was working on Dada, doing the
yeah.
weekend work,
Oh, we were
and
both like, yeah, yeah,
yeah, right,
yeah, yeah,
exactly, and that paid for my doctorate because the
yeah.
academic inflation. They've changed the program now. They're doing PhD stuff. They want people to do get up to the masters. And what annoys me is people like one particular gentleman with not Rico, the other guy with the no hair, PC, politically correct. He went on to the research route. We were on the teachers route, and that was it. He went on to the research route, which meant he did a lot less teaching hours.
Okay.
3 or 4 years, he'd been trying to get his master's, couldn't get it. Indy got it, he didn't get his, kept getting rejected. Had no articles published, and that was the deal. Get 2 articles published. I said to him, go Sunderland University. Didn't do what I did. Nah. What do I know? Nothing, of course. But I already had mine. But he went that road. He's had trouble doing it, and yet he was claiming less hours on his TOI, his terms of reference, claiming less hours, and yet he said to me, I've been on the research route for ages, and I've produced F all. He actually said the word, but I won't repeat it on here.
Yeah.
And then he also said, "Oh, I don't know, whether I'm bothered about it because I've accrued so much money on my bachelor's, he'd lose money,
Okay, because it's over. Yeah,
right?" But
yeah.
they've allowed him to continue without questioning. But there's me under the scrutiny of the watchful eye of the committee, whoever they are, a bunch of teachers basically. Half of them don't even know what I'm like or ever worked with me, and they decided to think, well, um, I am unable now to do my job because I'm recovering from cancer. I am recovering. I've got tiny little minuscule. I've got a little tiny little bit in here. As long as they're okay, this is almost gone. I've got an issue with my left kidney now, but I tell you what it is. It's target therapy pills. I've got about 6 or 7 left. I'm stopping them. I'm not taking them anymore because it's affecting my other organs, liver, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm and I don't know if you've heard of Rick Simpson. It's the medical marijuana and Rick Simpson oil.
Okay.
It has
That's
it's
CBD. No.
produced miracles. It's produced miracles. And I'll give you a quick insight to it. It's just this little bit of sniffing stuff.
Okay.
The oncologist, the cancer specialist, she looked at the results last time, and she said, he said, "Oh, well, we've got a bit of a fatty liver," and I said, "Oh yeah, never had that before." And and anyway, she said, "Are you stop that?" Because I was honest with her, and I told 3 doctors that I was doing this medical stuff. Stop that oil, then. Stop that oil. She said, "Stop." I was like, "All right, calm down." I think it's affecting the pills.
Okay. Then
And then
stop the pills. Yeah.
the next breath, she went from giving me 2 in the morning before food. I'm going to give you 1. She said, "I'm a bit worried about your liver." So I said, "Okay, yeah." Thinking, I'm not stopping that.
Yeah.
Down to 1, started to get more energy. This is about a month into it now, getting more energy. I'm only doing 1. I've got about 6 left. I might even not touch them. Got to go to Hadiye tomorrow, see her on Monday. When the last time I went to see her, she said, "Oh, look, the numbers have dropped and blah, blah, blah." I said, "Oh, right." I said, "Yeah, I stopped the oil."
Yeah.
I said to her, and her persona changed. "Oh, yeah, that's good. No, that's what, yeah, and that's why, yeah." I'm thinking, oh, that the numbers have dropped. I'm thinking, I didn't stop anything. Do you know why it's dropped? because you've dropped the dosage. And target therapy pills are hurting my liver and my other kidney now.
Yeah.
They are, the medical profession, as you well know, big pharma in America and other companies, business as usual.
Sure.
Symptom pill, not worried about prevention, not worried about looking into what the reason is, never worried about nutrition, what you're eating, carbohydrates. Guess where they come from? Glucose, processed food. Go into 7-Eleven, as you know, Chris, 98% of that food you can chuck out on the street and won't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So that's where I am at the moment. And these guys are saying that I'm unable to do my job. And the irony is 2022, semesters 1, 2, and 3, I am a number 6 out of 40 teachers. Rico's only in front of me by 1/5. I am number 6 out of all them teachers have done more teaching hours than the rest of them. And I'm not doing my job, or I couldn't. So it really is playing on my mind. So I've got to go and get things sorted out right now.
But let my cat in. She comes in.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, beautiful. I love ginger cats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can shave some of her fur, put it back on your head if you want. Make up a little wig.
Well, it's funny because I've got to go. I got my medical certificate from the doctor. I'm going to go in on Tuesday and literally give my paperwork in like we do every year to see what happens. And this is another thing that's started as well. This is the cultural differences, how we've been received, how we've been looked upon over the years.
You're talking about as a Westerner in Thailand.
Absolutely. You and I have got Thai wives, Thai children, half Thai children. I think that should make us eligible, whatever the cause,
For sure.
citizen. You should be able to live here without any worries. You've got a family, etc. How you look after each other is none of our business. However, you know why? We don't give you any government handouts. There's no social security.
Yeah.
So what are we doing to you? We're not taking money away from you. So anyway, I just think that should be the case. However, we both know that because we've worked together. But them saying now, the so-called committee saying to me, we don't think you're able to work. On what premise? On what evidence? I did more hours than any of you last year. I did more hours than the rest of Rico was a little bit higher than me. So where are you getting this information from? I finished my course. I did the grading. I uploaded the grade. I did all that. Weeks 12, 13, 14, I did online because I was in Had Yai. I'd already arranged it. Nobody said anything. I did my therapy in the afternoon and I taught in the morning. No one suffered. Half the students didn't turn up. Well, that's not my fault. And they said, oh, well, some of them said, oh, well, because we didn't like it online. It was all right when COVID was in there. It's all right when COVID's there, when it suits everybody else. But I didn't do, I continued because I didn't want other teachers picking up my work so late in the semester and putting them up. I'm dedicated. Yeah. And I did that, come back, did the final exam, blah, 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 uploaded the grades, did it. Right, super. They kept saying to me, take some time out. I said, no, I'm fine. I can do my job. I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. No, your job's fine. Your job's okay. Your job's fine. I said, no, I'm okay. I'm fine. I'll tell you if I can't do my job. I'll let you know. And, I knew some of the guys would help out. So off I went again to Had Yai, and I did something else there. And I had I can't remember. I had some sort of consultation. Anyway, come back, and then I was told Saranya took me in the office, and she says, wanted to take some sick leave. I had to fill in some sick leave thing, and I couldn't do it. I said, I'll do it when I get to see you. I booked some sick leave days. And then she said to me on the 3rd, July, near the end of April, late 27, 8th of April, she called me and she says, take some sick leave now till the end of July, 31st of July. I said, oh, okay. And what about work? She said, well, you're going to do research. Do research with Rico. You've got a proposal up, and I've been doing that. what was it? Doing motivation and language exposure. So that was it. I thought nothing of it. I got called in the 3rd of July. So only 12 days ago. She said, the committee have decided. Committee? What committee?
Yeah.
We're not going to renew your contract. I said, pardon? I said, why? Well, we don't think you're going to be able to do your job. I said, well, I've been doing my job. And this, and I'm thinking, hang on, I've been down this road before, been stitched up. And so I said, well, I've been doing my job, And then, and I said, I've done this. So my mind was just blown apart, just blown up. I was like, what? And I said, well, who are the committee? And and Ian, the French guy, he mentioned some names. And I said, well, I said, who are these people to even judge me when half the committee, they don't know me?
Yeah.
They've never worked with me. I said, they don't realise I've been in nearly 14 years. So, and I said, when have I ever said no to activities, extra schoolwork, curriculum? Never.
Yeah.
And I got proof. Ian sent me a proof, the graph. I've done more hours than everybody else, except Rico, that's a foreign teacher, and more hours than the people on the committee. So that's another bit of information. So anyway, I have pleaded and about what's going on. Give me another break. You give me 27 and a half days notice. 27 and a half days notice, which isn't just wrong.
Yeah.
I think that'll be severance pay. They certainly should have given me more time. Anyway, I've gone through all this. Anyway, right now as I speak, I've got to go. I've got my medical certificate. I'm just going to go through the motion as we did every year, and then I'll see. I'm just going to show you something. I'm going to see whether they're going to renew my.
Oh, so you think they still might?
Well, I saw her on Tuesday, just gone, and I said, well, Tuesday or Wednesday. I said, Sharon, what's going on? I said, well, what's happening? And I had a chat with her, and I pleaded. I said, well, why are you doing this to me? And I said, about my missus. I said, my daughter. I said, what have I ever done? I said, I've never not done my job or anything like that. Anyway, and she said, give me a couple of days. Now, Jude knows the answer. She said, see Sharon here. Well, why can't you tell me? Why? Because she's not the head of department. You know what they're like. It's not my job. Pass the buck. Not taking responsibility, even though she knows the answer. But I believe that she's had a chat with each other, but she's good.
Mm-hmm.
However, well, actually, there's the I don't know if you can see it. See that black line there? That's me.
Okay. Those are hours, teaching hours, or?
Yeah, that's from last year. Look how much hours compared to everybody else. See?
Yeah.
And
They've got
the
some
only one
fancy
above me
graphs. I
is
don't remember
Rico.
them having graphs like that. Did you make that, or?
No, it's on the system. Some system they've got.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know. Anyway, so I said to her, I said, well, what's happening? I'll let you know in a couple of days. I've heard nothing since. I should have heard by Thursday, if not yesterday. I've heard nothing since. This woman is playing with my life, and I'm not happy. Ian, the French guy, I don't know if they've got had something going on here, but she's got a bit of a thing with him, or whether she's joking or whether she's trying to be cool or whatever. This is what was written. I've got some evidence here. This is the woman running our department. They say that I'm incapable of doing my job. Jan Saranya, may I ask you why? This is Ian texting her. This is what I'm going to be. If they're going to wind me up, this is going to the president. This is going to be emailed to the president, and I'll even the dean or even a lawyer, because this is not happening. This is totally J-Ray, nasty. It's beyond that. It's beyond that. You are ruining someone's life here, literally. Jan Saronio, may I ask you why Jan Phillip's contract is not being renewed? Because I am a very bad person. Happy? Question mark. It was a real question, he said. I don't understand how the faculty committee could make such a decision. So he's sort of defending me, really. It's a nice,
Yeah.
fair play. She said, maybe because I lied about the committee decision. I made it up because I just want to kill someone for fun.
Wow.
Then, why ask a question that you already have the answer? What else could it be? I am a bad person. You always know that. Nobody knows better than you. So she's having a dig at him. Then she said, oh, don't forget to talk about it to everyone so people will listen to news story from you after fast track. Some fast track for publishing articles. We went on the fast track. They got us on the fast track. Makes no difference because the people who review it throw you out because they don't want you publishing crap.
Yeah.
They don't want you. They don't want you. Some of them can be very, very racist. And I do feel that sometimes. I suppose you're affected by the decision. I hope the faculty committee will reconsider it, he said. She said, no, I told you I lied about the committee. I did it myself.
So does she have that authorization, or maybe she doesn't? So she was just maybe trying to scare you away, think that your contract wasn't going to get renewed and you wouldn't do your paperwork. And that's why you did your paperwork, and it might.
She wrote this to Ian behind my back, but she deleted it, but he saved it, the screen. He gave it to me. Now, this is a woman who's making decisions about my working ability. And her mental ability, I don't think is very. I don't care whether she's. That's not something you joke about as a head of department or some crap that you're supposed to write to a member of staff. I lied. I decided. What is this? And I will show her. If she messes me around, I will just put it up in her face. And say, can you explain this, please?
You never had. You're talking about that right here on this podcast that I'm going to post. Although it's going to be. That
yeah.
Okay.
No. I am deeply hurt. I've been in tears because of it. All the years I put in, got myself a doctorate, and you let someone like PC.
In some ways, it's better because it is only her. So there isn't a committee that wants you gone. It's just one person. It's just one. And
I think so.
So that's in a lot of ways, that's better. It's hurtful from an individual, but it's not the whole, nobody else knows about it.
But get this, she suffered from breast cancer, and I warmed to it immediately. I said, oh, I'm so sorry. And I thought, I completely changed my thought. Well, that's really nice of you, and I appreciate you talking and you understanding. Yeah, really? Another lot of BS, was it? When she writes this, she's writing about me. Ian asked a genuine question. What's going on? I decided. I lied. Oh, I'm just winding him up. Really? Some people do stuff like that and pretend it's jest, but they mean it's like we use sarcasm. We use sarcasm because we don't want to offend you. That's where sarcasm comes in. Oh, your beard's looking great.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean? Bloody hell, man, what are you doing? Just shave this bit and join the Islam. No, but you know what I mean? We use sarcasm purely because we're joking as well. But we can use it as a means of not offending.
Yeah.
But they don't get that. They don't get irony or sarcasm here. But that's the sort of.
Well, maybe she was using sarcasm with you. Maybe it was all just a big. She's just, oh, we're not renewing your contract. Maybe it was never serious.
Well, she said she'd let me know a couple of days. Nothing's happened. She's making me sit and wait.
Yeah.
She's making me sit and wait. Whether I don't know whether my contract or whether my visa is going to be extended.
Sure.
I've looked on the schedule. I've got no teaching hours. The new guy's emailed me. He's doing my job. The new guy. We've got a new guy in already. I'm doing the course you were doing. All right, really. And then, so the whole package, the whole concept, the way when it started, they were all supporting me. Don't worry about your job. Don't worry about your job. They've had a meeting. They knew about this 3 or 4 weeks ago. And they just had another meeting on Monday. And Drew said, oh, it's probably a better result this time. Is it really? Well, when am I going to get it? I had no no chance to explain myself. I had no representation. You don't do this. It was just her saying it to me. So I've had no representation. I've had no chance to defend myself. I've had no chance to talk to the committee and say, well, could you explain what you mean? You don't think I can do my job? Well, how is it I've done more hours than you, and you, oh, you're doing research. What have you published? I really would like to grill them and be my own prosecutor, because I am deeply, deeply hurt. And I'm not looking for blame. I'm not looking for pointing fingers. I don't care what you think. I know I can do my job. All I want is for you to say, right, get on with it then. I've got no course at the moment, and they might have some IELTS courses in this September. I have no idea what is going on with my visa. However, I might go down your road, either marriage or dependency visa. Oh, I had Voxy online as well. I had a good interview with them. He's pushing me forward to online working. I've got to defend myself. I've got to look for other things. I can't just sit here and wait. I've got to see if there's another jobs going, if I can cover my back. You know, what you're doing is perfect. And I want to get to that. And I think, yeah, and then I don't need a bloody work permit because I'm not attached to any company here.
Yeah.
You know, I can have a dependency. If it gets my visa, I'm doing online work. Do you want to see how much money I've got? I can look after my family. There it is. Thank you. Bye. It's none of your business anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I feel privileged being able to live here. That's some of my privilege right now. But being treated like this, very, very hurtful. I am absolutely. I didn't feel this bad when Royal Mail. But all the years
even in that, even when, yeah.
Oh, it tops that.
Yeah, yeah.
It tops that, and it's extremely difficult. It's cultural differences where we get to sit with in front of the committee. We're allowed to speak our mind or say what we think or whatever. Listen to their judgment and whatever. Talk about it, communicate. Rico said, "Oh, let them. One or two of the teachers are on your side, so let them represent you." I said, "Rico, I said, what do you mean let them represent you? Are you serious? So do you think they're gonna?" And yeah, I've seen no one. Nobody said, "Well, come and have a chat." Jude said, "I'm gonna have a chat." Well, I'll be showing Jude that, because I think that is a disgrace. She's not smart enough to try and, I was just joking, or I was being sarcastic. You wouldn't know what the word means. Don't lie to me and do this to me and then keep me hanging on. It's really, it's such a tragedy that, that things like this happen in the world, and yet I've done nothing wrong. My missus has been affected, my daughter. You know yourself, we're dads, and and this is affecting our family. It's not only just me. And my missus has run me down the Hadyai. She's run me back. She's dealt with the doctor, because I'm not very good at English down there. Whatever. But she loses money when she does that. Her boss, her best friend's husband, takes money off her. That's the sort of people. So that's what people are like. Some of them, and that's including everybody throughout the world. There are people like this, not just here. People are nasty all over the place. I'm not just picking on Thailand, but it's the first bit of. Can I ask you a question? Have you ever witnessed racism
in Thailand or in my life?
with your lad, or have you had any backlash or with being a father of a half Thai son? You haven't got another one, have you?
No.
Not
Not yet. No, I'd like one. No, I mean,
have you felt any?
I wouldn't. There's no. I mean, I'm in a. I haven't. I wouldn't say I have. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, sometimes I always have to think about there may be things unsaid, people think things
Yeah,
perhaps, but I've never felt I've never felt uncomfortable. I like it out here. I mean,
yeah,
in Phuket though, I did feel that more because there's a lot of foreigners and there, there's a lot of tourists, and there's a lot of there's such a variety and of people, and it's easy to get clumped in a
yeah. Tarred with the same brush. I was just thinking, yeah, you get tarred with the same brush.
so I
Uh,
did experience that in Phuket. Luckily out here, I don't. I love being the only foreigner in fact, every once in a while, like in my market, I'll see a foreigner, which is really, it's like, whoa, what are you
Where
doing
is it
here?
you are? Where is it? I know you're northwest, but where exactly are you? Chiang
I'm
Mai, are
about
you?
I'm in Chiang Mai province. I'm several districts down from the city. Yeah, if I go into the city, there's more tourists, but it's much more laid back than Phuket, and generally more of a backpacker crew rather than the sex tourist or whatever you get sometimes in Phuket. You get some there's wonderful people too, of course, that are visiting because they love the beaches and beautiful scenery, but you do get a the you know some scumbags that could reflect poorly, while
Well,
here I
yeah,
would say
yeah.
the foreigners here don't reflect poorly on each other. I'd say that pretty. I mean, there's probably areas. I mean, we have like a little area that could, but for the most part, the foreigners that are here are more the backpackers, pretty kind of hippie, more like pretty respectful, and I'd say they get along well with Thai people. So I feel in a much more pleasant vibe being a foreigner in Chiang Mai. I feel, and again in Chiang Mai province, so in the
Do you
outskirts.
think? Do you
I
think? What do you think then, Chris? Being a psychologist, do you think there's such a thing as implicit racism?
Implicit race,
I
that's
tell
like
you why.
subconscious.
Well, I tell you why, because I wasn't being affected by the racism. When people see my daughter's photo, they, I've had a couple of people, one in particular, looks at me. She's not very white, and and I'm thinking, and that was the very first time I thought, is that racist? Am I offended by that? And I wasn't offended. I was sort of, is that a
Yeah,
is that a serious question, or is
yeah,
that a,
statement, but
she's
yeah,
not very white? What do you mean by that? What are you implying? So
yeah,
that could, that's why I thought, what is that implicit racism?
yeah. I mean,
You don't really
I
want
mean, yeah, is it
to.
racist, or is it just? I mean, it's a jab at you, I guess, in some form. Yeah,
What are you trying to say? I'm not the father, or you don't think I'm the father? But as you say, when you see her, yeah, she's definitely like an older sister. And I was like, but I've never experienced that. She's not very white. And I feel like saying, what colour do you expect her to be? Do you know? I
yeah,
mean, I'm glad she's like her mom, and she's got nice brown skin. Why? It's Thailand. All these whiting agents and having white under your arms and the white skin, that shampooing your hair with your skin and getting white.
oh yeah,
What are you doing? You're Thai. You're supposed to be brown. You're in a tropical country, and your melanin that's produced is there to protect you. You don't want white skin.
yeah,
You are so lucky to be the color you are. And I mean, I've got bloody fair, red-haired, blue-eyed. I look like a lobster after an hour in the sun.
yeah,
I'm Celtic, and so yeah, I got no chance. People with no sun, like Norwegians, Danish, Sweden. We don't get a lot of sun there.
yeah,
Northern Europe and the northern hemisphere. So we have to be careful. I only go on my bike today, and on your bike, a bit of sun, it's like Jesus. Here to Hawaii, and all of a sudden you.
yeah.
No, I was just interested whether you've actually ever experienced it. But that was the one thing that I thought was quite strange, the fact that she's not very white. Well, did you know black people can have white babies, or white people can have black babies? Because DNA, it's a strange thing, and yet, uh, according to the knowledgeable people, the scientists and the anthropologists and all the rest of it, we all come out of Africa anyway. So we all come from that area, and our Y chromosome, and so on and so forth. Um, we must be connected. We're humans. And where we get divided, I think, is when you get into the cultures, where like you'll have Chinatown in New York, San Francisco, same in London. They congregate together, safety in numbers. You can see why. You can see why they do that. I can see why they do that now, having left the UK, and you take the why, and you got all the foreigners there. Why? Safety in numbers. And so I just think that, um, I wasn't offended. No, I wasn't. But I was quite sort of question. Is that a
Yeah.
rhetorical question you want to answer?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's not very wise. Good. I think I said actually good. I'm glad she isn't. Good,
Yeah.
because she lives in Thailand. I just literally answered in a way that I didn't go off on one saying, well, what's a bit racist in it? Being
Yeah.
offended. No, she's not very wise. That's just lack of education. And that's what happens, what I said to early in the earlier conversation, that the African American vernacular English, it's simply the lack of education. Not their part, not their fault, the education themselves. The ivory towers, the Cornells, the Harvards, you know what I mean, the Stanfords, and all the ivory league, they call it, don't they, in America? These project this narrative and want this conflict. Governments like the conflict. Well, that's what government means, doesn't it? Govern, to control men's mind. They're there to control your mind, and that's what it is. And we are in business, and we are the customers. We're the ones that keep them running and keep their pockets filled. And that's what, you don't get educated like here. They don't talk about, well, not all of them, but history, geography. They don't know anything really much about Europe as such. Having said that, I think England and America, the woke culture of today, they're a little bit on the dumb side. They don't know anything.
It's a pathogen almost. I mean the way
What,
that it
yeah, what do
spreads.
you think of it? Because he comes from America. Dylan Mulvaney. Let's bring him up into the
I mean,
conversation.
I see, yeah, I see all those things. That's lady boy that was advertising for Bud Light or something. But I mean those, it's the whole thing is
Psychologist.
so, there's so much real stuff going on right now. I mean, I don't know if we're not already in World War III, and anything to keep our minds off that. I mean, to me, that's I'm just looking at this, the way Biden, all of NATO is they're like just doubling down on this Ukraine deal, and I'm just thinking like, now I'm not European. I mean, I don't know as much about European history per se. Like,
Yeah.
when we talk about like World War II, of course, yeah, I know. Okay, America bombed Pearl Harbor, but at the same time, I mean, I know the Nazis were, they basically went through Ukraine. I think Napoleon did too. I mean, so like, from my understanding, and I know your question was on Dylan McVaney or whatever, but to me that stuff is like, I mean, it's so meaningless. Like to be, or the other thing, even this like Roe versus Wade, which is like abortion and stuff, and I think it's a terrible thing to ever have an abortion, but at the same time, I am gonna just say, well, hey, you want to kill your baby. But like, so I would actually take the side that, yeah, go ahead and whatever. But anyway, even that, it's like that's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's being made of a way too much. I mean, is that more important than this war that's going on? And I see, like, I don't know what's going on right now in Ukraine, and I don't think anybody does, but I know that like there aren't very many Ukrainians probably left, and I don't think they want to fight. Like, I'm visualizing like the Kiev northern part of like Ukraine, or northwestern part is gonna like maybe get absorbed by Poland, and I mean,
Yeah.
Russia, it seems like, is already gonna take what they said they're gonna take. But actually, the one thing about, and I'm not saying Putin's a great guy. I know he's a very intelligent
KGB, wasn't he? So he's got a
and
mindset. He's got a mindset, and
but
he's not
but
going to change.
he's consistent. Yeah, he
Yeah,
hasn't changed. He's been saying the same thing for the last 20 years.
yeah.
I've listened to him, and I've listened to him on BBC and CNN. It's like, or different things. I mean, he's so composed, and the West and NATO and Biden, who's like just embarrassing as an American. It's the most embarrassing thing to see, that he's the leader of our country. But I mean, unfortunately, he's
It's
the leader of the free world, as they say. But it's like,
yeah,
so I mean, and to see, so many, all the European countries that are part of NATO, the majority of them. Every once in a while, I like that Macron. Every once in a while, he'll come out and he'll like say something that's kind of like, yeah, and then he'll back down and then jump back in line. So it's like, I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think it's time to like stop supporting this war. Just let I mean, you got to succeed, even if it's like, hey, that's I mean, it's really like, I'd rather just not even get involved in the first place.
Yeah,
and we're not defending democracy. That's what I hear some people like. The funny thing, liberal people who are supposed to be peace loving individuals,
they're not liberals anymore, Chris.
No, they're not.
the
No,
liberals
no.
that we know.
I mean, I remember I was talking on Twitter or something. Now, like, gave them the definition of liberal. Like, the first thing is like free enterprise, free speech, peace. It's like those are everything that
liberal liberty
now, and it's just, I can't even have a conversation. So it relates to, originally the original question was about this like wokeness, but it's like I can't even have a conversation. It's like, it's literally they're gaslighting us with these like, I'm unable to have a rational conversation, and I'm not. I get like labeled like a MAGA or something because the Make America Great, that's the Trump side. It's like, I actually do agree with some of the things that he says, but actually the things that he said that I agree with are liberal things, like anti-pharmaceutical, and these were always liberal ideologies.
Getting the jobs back in America instead of outsourcing all the time.
Yeah, and even the wall, even the defending your, or building, like defending your borders is also very, that's more liberal, and libertarian is like worry about your country, don't get involved in everybody else's business. So and I can't, and I joined on. So I moved over to Twitter because some of the things I said on Facebook and YouTube, and even this post, I won't post on Facebook and anything, because you don't know, we say something and it gets tagged, and they my family pictures on Facebook. I can't risk any that getting
absolutely
strikes and stuff. So this just goes on Spotify and Rumble and stuff. But and then Twitter is I'd never used Twitter before, but after Elon Musk got it, I'm like, okay, I can actually at least say some things. And then I joined groups that I follow Biden and Kamala Harris and CNN. I want to see what these people are saying, because that's like boom when they first say it, and then I get in the conversations. I mean, I'm not trolling. I'm trying to have legitimate conversations. I'm just saying, like, okay, we once stood for peace, and they're just like send these cluster bombs, which even actually England and most of Europe are saying, like, don't send those. Those are those bombs that are still going off in Laos and Cambodia. Like, children come across it, they're playing football or something, and they come across this little metal thing, and then boom, it blows up, and they die, or a farmer ends up blowing them up. And then and from what I see, it's just like I almost feel like this war is like, we've got a lot of old stockpile, and we're just trying, both the Russians and NATO. It's like, we've got all these old weapons. We need to, like, I think we've got lasers like mounted on satellites that can like penetrate. Maybe they may started that earthquake in Turkey and Syria or something. I don't know. I think we've got some new age weapons that are like better than anything we have. But maybe the nuclear weapons are who even knows if we actually have. They've been just sitting there so long. Who knows if they'd actually be able to? We don't even know what they are. So I almost feel like this war is just getting rid of all our old shit. And it's like America's got all this like a million cluster bombs, and like everyone, almost everybody except for like Russia, Ukraine, and America has signed a peace treaty saying we won't use these because they just indiscriminately bomb and they scatter. Some of them don't go off. And then 20, 50 years later, children or farmers come across them and then blow up legs. So it's like, so most of Europe signed treaties say we'll never use them. But it's like, but we got them. So what are we going to do with them? We got a million of them. What are we supposed to do with them? Send them
We're
to
probably
the we got to use them. So it's like,
yeah, as I say, I think we often shoot ourselves in the foot. We are the worst animal, the cruelest animal walking on earth. We're the ones that are destructive. Other animals kill to eat. Now, I'm not saying we don't kill to eat. I mean, you know, I'm not against vegans or anything else. But what I am against is when they chop down loads of trees just so they can grow corn to feed to cattle.
oh yeah.
What? Since when have cows started eating corn? You're making them eat something that doesn't suit them.
Did you know cows are actually the how do I word this? They eat they also they give them fish scraps too. They mix corn because corn by itself they're actually the largest sea eating creature or something. The most seafood, so seafood scraps and corn, it all gets mixed together into this paste. And cows are actually they eat more sea mammals than whales, or they eat more seafood than whales or something.
Yeah, right. And they're nowhere near the bloody sea. But no, I mean, I think that's more criminal. You know, what we're doing to the environment and these, you know, these conglomerate companies are huge bloody things. And these corporate companies, and they are the most destructive companies in the world. They are causing more problems in the world. You know, when you've got people parts of the world, you know, they always point to Africa, sadly, and they've had a hard ride, that continent, for so long. You know, why can't we help them a bit more? Like, you know, you can pipe oil for thousands of kilometers, but not water. You know, so not much profit in that. That's why the pharmaceutical companies, they don't want Mother Nature stepping in. They'll take some ingredients out of Mother Nature and add their garbage into it and put it in a pill, like they do with the processed food. What did they do in the 80s, early 80s? No, got to eat processed food, baked stuff, bread, pasta. They changed the eating, you know, the triangle that they had. And that's what started what they call it, metabolic syndrome disease, fatty liver, kids.
So many. I mean, the health or it's not health. The just pharmaceutical cartels and the whole medical establishment. I'm actually surgeries too. I'm like vehemently against surgery. I've been told I needed surgeries on my ankles. I've had my heel popped out in a fight before, and they said I needed this and that, and I refused all surgeries, hernias, everything. I've had all that shit, and they've all healed on their own. I've even fractured my jaw, and it healed. Another time I did get my mouth wired shut, but for the most, you know, I'm not saying I won't go for like an injury, but like for the most part, your body heals. Which so about this cancer though, you're able to, I know you're against like pharmaceuticals, so you're able to you're going to cut it out. I mean, are you going to go against what your doctors?
Well, it's funny because when I first went down there, and Dr. Nakon here, who's Mission Hospital, lovely guy, and Dr. Temsak Dan, radiologist in Hadyai, really two proper, well-educated, very pleasant, empathy, sympathy, all the whole thing, the whole 9 yards. Really nice guys, really nice doctors. How a doctor should be. Unlike my oncologist, she's a bit sharp, but I'm trying to keep it cool with her. You know, she's trying to do a job. I respect her for who she is and what she knows, but step outside of a box, you know, and then she sort of say, well, I don't know anything about that. There's no research. There's been lots of research on this. Anyway, so what put the cat amongst the pigeons with her, I believe, now I'm only surmising here, is that I told her about this alternative because I've said to Dr. Nakhan what I was doing, Dr. Temsak, both of them says, well, if it makes you happy, keeps you stress-free, because stress is not good for tumours, then do it. So I said, right, okay. So I just wanted to be straight with them. And I said, it's an alternative. It's natural nature. We have got cannabinoid receptors in our body. We are meant to have the plant and eat it and drink with it and do whatever you want with it, use it as a healant of some kind, medicinal. And it's now starting to really come out of its woodwork. It's really starting to progress. When I first went there, I had to see the radiologist, but I had to go and see her first. Blah, blah, blah. She went on and on and on. Straight into the cell, straight into the target therapy, all the chemo drugs. And, trying to sell me. I said, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. She said, well, do you want the pills or not? That's what she said to me. Do you want the pills or not? So, I mean, what? I said, well, I don't know. I said, do I have a choice? And then eventually I said, well, I've got to have radiology. She said, oh, radiology, are you? I said, well, yeah. I said, you didn't ask. I said, I told her. So she sort of ignored that and pushed her drugs onto me really quickly. And I was like, whoa, slow down. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. I said, I've got to have radiology first, 10 days. And then in the end, I felt pressured. In the end, I ended up taking 2 weeks or something. But then I would have started them on the 10th. I don't know, March, April, or so, 10th of March or something, whatever it was. April, I think it was, to start the pills. But I'd have my radiology first. So in the end, I got the report, and you have to go to finance and pay. And I said to Neil, I said, no, look, sweetheart, I said, I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm doing yet. So I've got to have the radiology first. This is what, So in the end, I refused. I said, I don't want them. Therefore, I created a problem because I couldn't get my radiology drugs. As I was taking radiology, you have to take some drugs to help protect various things. Went back to her. She got with my missus, blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, he's not sure enough. So because she pushed me, eventually got my drugs back. Did my radiology. Now, I said to my missus, I said, I hope they don't forget about my bloody lungs. I don't, the right metastasis, about 20 mil in the right lung. And I said, I'm a bit concerned. Anyway, did the radiology and all the rest of it. Lovely guy, got everything done and started the target therapy. Very first scan, the first scan, looked at the lungs. Looked at the lungs. Now, remember, I didn't start target therapy. I did the radiology, and I was doing my medical marijuana oil. And I don't mind people listening to this because it's a fact, and I'm trying to live.
And the medical marijuana oil
CBD.
is something you're able to, I know it's legal now in Thailand, so you just buy it at a place, or is it at a
you can get this medical marijuana dispensaries. They also sell the weed and things like that. So I'm ready to pick myself. They also sell the weed, but they use it as medical as a means to probably sell the product. Sure. But the CBD, yeah, it's okay. It might stop you being having anxiety or suffering a bit of depression, feeling down. It may well work on some people, but according to your tolerance, I've moved up to THC because you get CBD, THC, CBD1, 2, CBG. There's lots of different, there's lots of different nutrients and different properties of the plant. Anyway, I was doing that and doing Rick Simpson oil. Now, I'm saving my life. I don't give a monkey's what people think. However, I did it because I want to save my life. I've got a family. I don't want to die of cancer. And it wasn't affecting my job. I wasn't affecting anybody else. It was private. It was a personal thing because I'd seen evidence and I wanted to save my life or help towards that. Looked at the scan of the lung. He looked at me, man. He said, he said, there's 4 weeks ago, he said. No, I'm going back. 8 weeks or something, 9 weeks, whatever. So that's 4 weeks into it. I said, oh, yeah. So there's the metastasis there. Like, it's about this big. And he said, and this is this week. Gone. Gone. You watch a movie or called Weed, W-E-E-D, Weed the People. One young lad, poor lad, didn't make it. But one young girl, 2-year-old, had 1, 2, quite big cyst here. They started giving her Rick Simpson oil, like tiny rice bits, size of a piece of rice. This Rick Simpson oil, this is the oil. You can get the solid version, but you take little bits. It's helping clear her head up. They had no other choice than they turned to it. And it's helping clear it out. Hers back. One young lad, 40 metastasis in his lungs, did the oil, gone. Now, when I did my lung, he said this week, he looked at me, he said, when did you start this? I said, about 4 weeks ago. He said, well, it's gone. Now, so I'm going to stick to this, because you know what the target therapy pills do? They attack your other organs.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, why not just cut them off right now? What, or you're just...
Yeah, well, I am. I'm said to him, I'm not doing them anymore. That's it. I've got 5 or 6 left. I'm not doing them. I'm not touching them. Why? Because I never had fatty liver before, and now my left kidney's an issue. I've only got one left, man. You know what I mean? And you can keep your kidney as it is. It will still function, but you got to be dehydrated. I've got to start eating my cabbage, my my blueberries, all these foods I was eating while I was down there, cutting out all the carbohydrates. Glucose feeds tumors. I've cut out all the carbohydrates. I've lost 20 kilos.
Oh, wow.
I don't like it. I look like someone from Belsen or from Auschwitz. I don't like it. But that's the target therapy. Suppresses you, makes you tired. Some of the things it does attacks other liver.
I mean, had you considered having never done that? I mean, where do you think you would be if you did?
The reason why I took it on, because I knew they were going to kickstart the attacking the tumors, and I was taking the Rick Simpson oil with it, which actually enhances, and also things like cumin, turmeric, black garlic, black pepper with cumin and turmeric. You need black pepper. I was doing all of this, vegetables, no processed food, and I think that's helped me because it hasn't been feeding the tumor. Glucose feeds tumors. Stress stops serotonin, and that helps the tumor grow. Angiogenesis, blood genesis is the development, and so I've been looking into this, and so now I've got fatty liver. It can be healed. And I've got an issue with my kidney there. That's why I've got to go and see Hadja. I've got to see what she says. So I'm going to tell her and say, I don't want your pills anymore. I've got a tiny little bit in my brain. The oil will deal with that. Don't want it anymore. I said, because it's now damaging my kidney, fatty liver, and you don't think it's what? You don't think it's the target pills? It says in the literature that target therapy kills the bad cells. Chemo kills good cells and bad. And you only start feeling better when your new cells grow. But the target only kills the bad cells. However, what they forgot to mention, that it attacks your liver and it attacks your kidney.
Sure, yeah.
Thanks very much.
Yeah.
You're here with cancer, but you need dialysis now. You can cut half my liver off and it'll grow back. Fine. But you know what I mean? They don't know nothing about nutrition. They don't know nothing about prevention. They don't care. They're in business. Symptom pill. I'm not saying it's their fault, but it's now starting, to come to light, and nutritional and there's all this keto diet and all this business, whatever suits you. However, they're not trained in that field, so I'm not saying I blame them. But when I talked about it, she had no interest whatsoever. No, she didn't even want to talk to me about it. Well, what's that then? Well, I've never really looked. And some young doctor who did my leg, stint in my leg, said, Well, where can you get that then? I said, what do you mean, where can you get it? He said, if you've not been around Hadyard, it's got cannabis shops and medical marijuana booths. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I'm an advocate for it. You look at it, weed the people. And you know, my German mate, Mitchie, he had MS 8 years ago, gone. Guy had pancreatic cancer, 70-year-old come here to die, gone. Blood's back to normal, he's up and running. It's unbelievable. It may not help everybody,
Yeah.
but luckily with me, Chris, I caught the metastasis at an early stage. But this one,
Yeah.
he was dumbfounded.
Yeah.
Amazing. I was in tears. I broke down. I cried.
Yeah.
That's how much it meant to me. And now, and also, guess what? These target therapy pills. Oh my God. You wonder why I wanted to stop them. Listen to the side effects. Well, I'll just show you.
Sudden heart failure or something. Like,
It's worse than that. Skin, you know, sensitive skin and that, you know, your hair. I know all about that. Feel a bit sick, yeah. Bit of lack of energy, yeah. Because, you know, as they say in Thai, go up. Nausea, vomiting. There we go. Diarrhea or constipation. Diarrhea, you know, not too good. Got to eat more fiber. Mouth sores, not yet. I'm okay. Oh, I had a little bit to start with. Shortness of breath or trouble breathing, yes. Up and down the bloody 4 stairs. But I'm getting better. Cough, getting a bit of a, sometimes my voice. Feeling tired all the time. Yeah, I can do. Lie down, relax. So these are normal. These are fine. Headache, hair loss. Yeah, said that. Allergic reactions while getting an IV drug. Well, I haven't done that. Increased risk of infections. Yeah, immune system's down. These are the two. Dangers to organs, such as the thyroid gland, liver, and kidneys. Whereas mine is not plural. And the bottom one,
yeah.
Second cancers.
Ha! Yeah. But it won't, yeah, they'll take care of that one. Yeah, no, I mean, it's a
Second
cascade.
cancers.
No, it's absolutely, I mean, medical treatment is a cascade for additional medical problems. And it's not like, yeah, it doesn't have to be that that's their intention. It's just the fact that it happens. There's no safety mechanism to control for it because it doesn't hurt business. It's not like that was their, it's intentionally, it's just that's the way the medical model works. Yeah.
But for her to, oh, you know,
Yeah.
And when the numbers dropped, when she dropped me down to 1 tablet and the numbers dropped, oh, you've got better results this time. I said, oh yeah. And I said, yeah, I you know, like I said, you know, I didn't do the oil and the face changed and all this business. And I said, well, you know, I said, so you don't think it was the drugs then that's causing my fatty liver? You don't think so? No. The oil, was it? Affecting your pills. Yeah. And that really, really wound me up. I thought, I'm not saying, I just think that, you know, a doctor should listen to the patient. We're told to listen to our body. Now, let me ask you one question. Mm-hmm. You've got a patient who's suffering from anxiety, you know, or depression. Mm-hmm. Get, you know, be anxious anytime. I get anxious to go and just to have bloody just to see her. Someone is suffering from depression. What's the sort of stuff you would ask them? Oh, really? It's a pill. Off you go. Next, please. Because you only get 10, 15 minutes with each other. What sort of information would you want from that person? Hi, Doc. I'm suffering from
their life. Their topic. Take me through your day, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
How do you feel when you wake up? I mean, you know, what are your, you know, every activities, diet.
Context.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Context. How's your life? How's your marriage? How's things? Everything disturbing? You got money problems, but work, whatever. You know, is there something bothering you? Your wife's having an affair. You've had an affair. You feel guilty. Whatever. Yeah. What the hell is causing it? You got to find the, you know, the symptom is I'm suffering from depression. What's caused that then? I don't know. I got a shit life, I suppose. Yeah, I'll have some pills. You might find your life won't be so shit anymore. And that's it. As long as you keep pushing your pills, the research companies, the drug companies, they will keep pushing the money your way as long as you sell their drug. You want to see the drugs that come out of Hadiye. When you go to get your drugs, they must be pulling in over 1 million baht a day, easily. Bags and bags and bags. People are walking out with bags this full. Boxes. It's just, oh. And the poor people. Oh, well, this is what I said to her as well. I said, look, I said, I'm a PSU member, staff. I've been here going on 14 years. I said, I got a doctor of education. I'm educated. You know, I said, I'm not one of these people sitting out here who will never question you, because I will question you. Why? Because I want to know. I do research. I do education. I want to educate myself. So I ask questions. What do you think? What do you think I do? I'm a university lecturer. What do you think we do? Right, we're going to read about Jack and Jill, you know, run down the hill. You know, well, no, we ask questions. This is what they don't do here. Question, communication, asking the right questions to elicit certain language or trying to get the answer. You got to be a detective. Didn't like that. Don't like being questioned. And just the fact that when she said, oh, the numbers have gone down, and she was so, what's the word? So, just so up herself, you know. She was you know, oh, that was my decision to drop the pills. Hang on, I thought you said it was the oil affecting the pills, but then you dropped the pill. Surely that's the answer. Because I know that I haven't stopped taking anything. And I want to say to her, well, I'm just quitting. Oh, by the way, you know, when my numbers went down, I didn't stop taking the oil. Must have been the pill then, eh? I want to be like that. That's how I want to be, sarcastic and be like that. I don't mind being belligerent because it makes them stop and think, oh, you told me you did. Well, I didn't. So it must have been your pills that's causing my fatty liver. Got nothing to do.
I stopped taking those. Yeah.
I am, mate.
Yeah.
Second cancers.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need those.
So, you know, I've really lost a lot of faith. I'm not saying they're not very good medical, you know, the technicians and they do operations. And I'm not saying nothing against the medical profession. I think they're wonderful here. I've got to be honest. Rico annoyed me, bless him. I like Rico, he's a lovely guy. Rico said, do you remember Rico? I don't know,
Rico's Ricardo.
Ricardo, yeah.
Rico, okay, yeah.
Lovely guy.
I'm doing some research. Glad he's done there. Yeah, no, I haven't talked to him in a little while, but we talked to each other.
Yeah, it's really nice. He said to me, he said, why don't you go back to England? I said, Rico, stop. No, yeah, you know, no, stop. I said, you're annoying. I said, Rico, 18-month waiting list. I would have stage 4 bloody cancer by now, but I've been waiting for England.
Oh yeah, no, I love the hospitals here. I mean, I've gone
great.
I've walked in, walked out with stitches same day, $15. I don't have any medical insurance, but I mean, you know, it's affordable, you know, and it's something like that I needed stitches. Yeah, branch fell on my head when I was cutting it. I get some reckless sometimes when I'm farming. One time I hit myself in the shin. I was doing like a 12 to 6 jumping axe. I jumped up to get a branch, but now I've got this chainsaw, but it's like battery powered. It's amazing. It's so light. But it's like, I love it, man. I love it up here. I hope you can get up here sometime. And
well, you know, I mean, if I get an online job and I can move around remote, then I can choose what I want and say to New, let's bugger off. Let's go somewhere cheaper.
It's a meditation up here.
Yeah,
you've got some time to just sit and do some little breathing exercises or the ice baths. What about ice baths? Some sort of.
Well, I only got a shower, but what I do, I do rest a lot, because sometimes, you know, I can start thinking about food, and I start thinking about, and all of a sudden I think, oh, I start to feel sick, you know, and all of a sudden I start feeling sick, and you know, and it's the pills. I mean, my best mate Bob he's been coming here 15 years. He's lived here a few times, but he grows and everything else, and you know, and Mitchie and whatnot, and you know, and like I say, he's healed his MS and so on and so forth. But I forgot what I was going to say actually. No, but I mean, I think he's telling me now, it's about saying, you should get off this stuff. Mitch
Yeah,
is saying, get off this stuff.
yeah,
It's doing you more damage
for
than
sure.
not. And sometimes he went through colon cancer and he had his colon and that, so he has to inject and he takes a bit of this because it's prevention.
Yeah,
You're trying to prevent it from reappearing, and that's the basic. There's no pill for that, but there's just the pills to target it, kills it, whatever. But however, it may kill the tumor. It's not only killing the radical cells. Chemo kills the good cells, and then the white cells get affected. And then if you haven't got many white cells, you can't attack anything. You'll end up dying
yeah.
because all they're doing is prolonging. And then, what she said? She said, I said, what if they can't afford the tablets? I said, I'm just a teacher. I said, I'm on a teacher's salary. She said, oh, well, we'll give you palliative care. Palliative care. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, yeah. Of course,
Palliative,
yeah. Going,
it's your covering your ass. So when we die, you haven't got any problem. Well, we looked after him for as long as we could.
yeah, yeah,
Well, giving me a pill. Well done.
yeah.
Palliative care. I wanted to say to her, I said, so you watch him die then? That's what I said to her. So you watch him die. What I should have said is, do you mean Paleolithic care? That's how old your antiquated ideology is, palliative care. Why don't you be honest and say, well, there's not much we can do with them. If they can't afford we can't help them. We have to charge. But no, they just watch them die. So you watch them die then. And she didn't like that. Why? Because the truth hurts, does it? And that's how I am with her. And she's, hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm okay. I feel a bit sick right now. Meaning I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
But I was, I had to keep cool. But I've found that since I've been living here almost 18 years, and I've educated myself, I'm not unhappy. I'm very happy in my life. I love my missus. We've got lovely daughters, as yourself. And even this has come onto me. My kidney was the primary source. Tumor cells, they can float around. They don't have any sticky substance, so they can land anywhere. And that's what the target therapy does. It finds it, does it. What the oil does with turmeric and with black pepper, with cumin, with black garlic, all of these things attack
Sure, yeah.
the
You're talking
tumors.
about those fermented black garlics, right? They're kind of expensive. They come in. Yeah, I take 3 days. That it also regulates like insulin. It's I take that on an empty stomach when I wake up, and then
awesome.
yeah,
I've been taking I've been taking it for quite some time. Not recently because my taste buds and my sense of smell and things like that have all been changed. But once I come off the target therapy, my mate Bob said, he said I had them for 3 weeks. Once you come off them, give yourself 2 or 3 weeks, and you start feeling better. Your hair will start growing. You put on weight, and I'm not also killing myself. I got to look after my one kidney, and if she says anything, I say, look, I believe that these pills are damaging, and they're known to damage other parts of the body, and my kidney now has got a problem. So I don't want to take your pills anymore. That's it. I just want you to recommend what should I do about my kidney. That's all I want to talk to you about. The rest, the brain will go a tiny little bit.
milk
The lungs
thistle
are
or something.
okay.
I mean, I don't even know if I'd take her advice for it because it would be some other pharmaceutical. I mean, there's, I mean, like you said, fiber. I mean, things that are going to help detoxify foods, but just eating pure foods, pure whole foods that aren't processed, your kidneys will strengthen. They'll strengthen.
Well, it won't get any better, but it won't get any worse. But I don't know what it is, a lesion or something, a bit of a growth. But this one had a 10 centimeter on the other right. So I got it taken out.
Okay.
Yeah, that was last year. That was last year.
Oh, really?
And that was last year, 2022. And yet I did more hours. I 16 line out of 40 teachers or 40-yard teachers, including the ties and all the rest of them. And Rico's ahead of me. So even then, I was doing my job and getting back to work or trying to, I'm a soldier. I'm a fighter. I don't give in. And I don't want you telling me that I can't do my job. It's insulting. You're insulting my intelligence. How dare you? What are you, my medical doctor now? What would you know about my ability? I seem to be doing more hours than you last semester. So what you got? it really is. I have to be so cool about it, Chris. But
Yeah.
inside, mate, inside, I'm like the Hulk. I want to, really, I'm not joking.
Well,
I
yeah, well,
really
that's
want to
not good
sit.
for the
No, exactly. That's why I'm saying to people, my
yeah.
mates go, you should do this, do that. I said, no, I'm going to go through the legal process. Going to get I've got my med certificate. I'm going to take my paperwork on Tuesday as if nothing's happened. I've been told nothing. Been told nothing. So I'm going to go, right, new visa. There's my passport. There's my work permit. See you on Wednesday down the immigration. Then, if they say on
Yeah.
Tuesday,
I,
oh, we're not renewing it. Oh, then I will then start diving into doing my detective work and saying, what about this?
yeah.
What about this? All the hours? What about, where are you getting your information from? You're accusing me of something that has not happened or is going to happen. But you are not looking after my health right now. Your job's fine. Your job's fine.
Yeah.
So I want to go down your road because I do not want to be held like this again. I was hurt when I got stitched up at Royal Mail. I had a good job and everything else. But
Yeah.
in hindsight, I ended up here. Great.
Yeah.
However, this is a disgrace. And apparently they owe me severance pay, 350,000, 350, 400,000 baht.
That would be nice.
Between 10 and 20 years of service, you should get severance pay. Now I've been over here nearly 14. So they go, oh no, but the FIS, yeah. 1st of February, 10 years ago, we moved over here.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. You're FHT first.
Yeah. So I was there
Okay.
3.5 years. 10 years. So I've been here over 10 years at this faculty. So 10 to 20. So they want to throw that at me, fine. But no, faculty FIS. And you owe me money. My missus called Quang. She does some things. I know my missus called and says, what about Philip? You should pay him severance pay because she knows the system.
Yeah.
You should pay him severance pay because she got in touch with the Labour Office.
Okay. Well, that's good. She's looking out for you like that. I mean, we're looking out for everybody, but yeah.
Come on, man. I mean, I don't deserve to lose my job.
Yeah.
I've done nothing wrong to anybody. I've been dedicated. I've been always there. I've very rarely. I've had one holiday. I went home for England 2-3 weeks, and I've been here 7 years. I've never had a holiday since then.
Yeah.
And now you asked me to take some sick leave. Yeah, well, I will do if you're insisting. But then my Dr. Demsak said, well, if they want you to go on the sick till the end of the month, how is it they still want you to do research? If you can't do your job, why are they asking you to do your research? So that's another mess up.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's another something you didn't think about. And then, you're texting someone else thinking that they've been deleted. Well, I've got them. That's something else. Then I've got the hours of work and how much. That's something else. And then, and then you're telling me that my job's fine. So I have to defend myself. I have to, but in a way that I can be cool, calm, collected, and just say, well, could you explain that then? Because if it doesn't, I'll go to the president. I'll make it public. And if you are watching, I will. You're going to mess my life up. It's not happening. I can't accept it. It's deeply hurtful. I see my daughter, and I look at her when she comes to school. It almost makes me almost cry all the time because I've got to think, come on, our children. You've got to be able to look after them. We brought them into the world, so we are obliged to look after them and guide them and get them, as educated as we can. And bless you. But apart from that, I'm a positive guy, man. I am, but I'm just a straight talker. I'm an individualist, and like yourself, got an opinion, say it. And you've got to be like this. It's the lack of communication or the inability to communicate effectively causes more problems than anything else. Relationships, friendships, work relationships. Teacher student. They misunderstood, but they won't say what's my coach. Well, I didn't. What did you mean by that? I'll just go off and complain about you. It's like, well, I didn't say that. And so there's all this, and then it really, really does let everything down. It's so sad because language is what makes us who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And the lack of it, or the sheer inability to use it effectively, is just criminal. So I don't care what other people think, or whether you think I can do my job. Well, you're obviously wrong, but you have that right to have that opinion. You know what I mean? I'm not angry. You've got to be right to have that opinion. You don't like something I've done, fine. You're offended, fine. I've hurt your feelings. Get over yourself. Sorry, I'll apologise, but don't expect me to worry about your feelings when obviously you don't care about ours. But I'm not like that. Psychologist. I studied cognitive behavioural therapy, so talking to people. How's life? How's things? Anything bugging you right now? Get to the bottom of it. Get to the root of the tree, because it's the root from the tree that holds it up. If it weren't for that root, the tree wouldn't be there. You've got to get down to the root of that tree and see where the infestation is, or whether the problem is lying. Then you dig it out, and then the rest of the tree can continue growing and blossoming each time. Right now, it's been eaten away slowly but surely. But you're not looking down there, you're looking up there. Oh, yeah, the leaves are falling. Oh, the fruit's no good. I wonder why. I'll have to chop it down. And that's it. Chop it down. That's the answer. Rather than let's bury down. We've got some infection going on down there. Root. What do they call it? Root rot. Rotting roots, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Look for the root. Go down. Question I wanted to ask you ages ago. How many genders are there? How many genders are there?
2.
Good man.
I mean, I don't think there's yeah. Well, okay. Oh, that's actually one thing I wanted to talk about, because it's really interesting. One thing about this, like, wokeness and stuff, coming from, I was wondering how Thailand has already addressed, like, the ladyboy Gatui is like already an established culture, and it's accepted. And I do call, males who identify as females, like, I call them she, if they, if they dress up out of respect, not like there shouldn't be a legal obligation, but I mean, it's reasonable. That's, they look at them. Some of them kind of look kind of good, but
I mean,
so it's like, but so it's so weird seeing this. I mean, they call it transgenderism in like the woke, but to me it's ladyboy, and like it's already I'm more familiar with it as a like a phenomenon, because it is a phenomenon. I mean, it for a male to want to identify as a female is a biological cultural phenomenon for sure. It's something to talk about and discuss. But yeah, again, that's just part of the whole thing. I can't even have, like, I don't even, like, you originally mentioned this Dylan Mulvaney or something. It's like, I mean, part of me is like, yeah, whatever. I mean, but like, why is it? What is the issue? Actually, I don't even know. But I guess the question I want to ask is how has that affected? I mean, because we had lady boys in our classrooms. Some of them were like full blown. Some of them were just kind of, they didn't maybe dress up all the way at school. They stayed in their male uniforms and everything. But has it affected? Has it spilled over into, because of course it always infiltrates universities are kind of a breeding ground for these ideologies. And
I think that's just gay. I think they're openly gay, and if they want to be a lady boy, and I've got to give them credit, some of them look a bloke dressed up, but some of them they do look like women. And you could be seriously fooled if you've had a few too many beers. Thankfully, not me, but you seriously could be fooled. And I've got no problems. They look fantastic. Some of them, they make an effort. They make a far more greater effort to look good than some of the Western women that you get in Britain. Down in Weymouth, they're all huge, eating all that garbage and that processed food and cakes, and they're waddling down the road and think that we should look at them and say, "You look great." No, you don't. You're obese. You're clinically obese. You are causing the health people, departments, millions and millions of pounds or millions of dollars every year just to keep you alive, or because that you won't stop stuffing your face. You are killing yourself. Children having liver disease, fatty liver, something that was in the mid-50s, 40s, men years ago in the mid-50s drinking, got fatty liver. Children are getting it now from processed food.
Oh yeah.
And you know, because you're just feeding them garbage. You know, yeah, heal. What, again? You're hungry again? You know why? Because the food you're putting in your body
Empty.
lacks nutrition.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it.
Absolutely.
But that's acceptable. Having your fat children, you know, why don't we do something about that? You know, trying to save some children's life, give them a bit of quality of life. Walking around, waddling around at 6 years old. Poor kid.
Yeah, now exercise and health is a right-wing conspiracy theory.
Of course it is. Yeah, it would be. Anything the right says is you don't like
it's not. That's the thing, that like holistic health, and that has always been a very traditionally left idea. I mean, and it's not anymore. So I mean, has that affected? I mean, Thailand, I feels like in some ways the more I know in Bangkok there's going to be more protests and ideas. I mean, in Phuket, are there any sort of?
Funny you should say that. I was talking to a student, Adam, an old student of mine, and his buddy turned up, and we got onto this subject about woke. And he, great young chap, good English, great mind, wasn't taken in by this woke business. I think, like we said, if you want to live life as a woman, fine. I'll come with a question with you in a minute. I'll ask it now before I forget. You did cage fighting. Can you imagine you saying, right, even as with your beard, I'm identifying as a woman, and you want to go into MMA and you start scrapping the women and you're knocking crap out of them? How is that fair? Or how is that even morally or even ethically, if it's a sport working wise, but morally, ethically, either one? How is that right for a woman to be kicked about by a stronger man like that? What's it, Leah Thomas? What it is?
The swimmer. Swimmer. Yeah, I saw that one. No. It's worse than that. The fact that there's even a discussion about, like, the fact that there's even, like, I don't even like to respond to. The fact that I could be in a position where I have to, like, explain why there's a problem there is unacceptable. I don't even want to. I'm so, like, I can't. If somebody, I don't think there's anybody that seriously, I don't know, are they real people that would have that argument, and then, like, to me, have that argument with them is like how could we even be talking about that? So I don't even like talking about it, but I would. In fact, I would invite anybody to, because I believe in free speech, and if somebody did want to, I would. But it's ridiculous that it can even be brought up. I mean,
stupid questions like, can a man get pregnant? And you get people say, yeah, if it's a trans woman. It's got no uterus.
The breast milk, like men trying to lactate. I mean, that's abuse. Ridiculous. That's physical abuse to your children. Even if you can take all these hormones and maybe produce some enzymes and something out of there, but it's not going to be nutritional for the baby. I mean, like, come on. I mean, like, like that. I actually have to, like, explain it, and, like, is like, I feel like I've already lost. Like, how can somebody actually get me to have to explain myself? But
sociology, psychology, and we can't get our head around it. It's like, no. I'm like you. I ignore it, but it's very difficult to ignore when you're getting it thrown in your face. And this young lad the other day, last week, he said, it's ridiculous. It's coming over here. It's you said Bangkok. I think you mentioned Bangkok. And I said, to say, can a man get pregnant? Someone says yes. You look at your Congress. It's probably the same in England, but I watch a lot of the American stuff as well, to be honest. I find it fascinating that we're their partners. But you get these guys, these congressmen, asking dead straight questions, and these bloody woke teachers or these woke educational people simply won't answer.
They won't answer. What is it? I saw someone say that. What is a woman? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a biologist. I think that was like a judicial, like a Supreme Court justice or something, like getting an application to become a Supreme Court justice, which are more powerful than the president on a lot of levels because they're like appointed for a long time. Those are like the 9. I think it was that. I don't know.
The nine,
Somebody,
yeah.
somebody official, like somebody very high, and I think it was. I don't know if my facts are right, but yeah, it was somebody extremely important. Couldn't answer it, and their answer was, because I'm not a biologist, I can't define what a woman is. It's
how many pronouns are there? Do what you want. Do what you want. And then Candice Owens. I like Candice Owens. She said the black girl.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and her husband's wife, children are mixed, like we got mixed race, you and I. There was this mixed race university professor. There was one with dreadlocks, and they gone about, cultural appropriation. Well, are you a Rastafarian then, mate? You're a university lecturer. You smoke weed because you had dreadlocks as a form of symbolism. You're a Rastafari, and that's what defines. And you smoke weed. You don't. Then why you got your hair like that? Black girl saying, "Oh, they're braiding their hair." It's not a black thing. Braiding hair has been used by many different cultures going down the thousands of years. Now, this is I'm not blaming them. This is the education doing this to them. Misinformation, if not disinformation, not telling the truth.
Malinformation.
It's
yeah.
What information? Sorry.
Or malinformation, like just
yeah.
It is
same thing.
So
and that's why they're like they are. You can't blame them thinking like they are. It's what they're told, and that's what they believe, and that's the tragedy behind it. That's the tragedy behind it. These woke university lectures.
So I have to go a little bit now. This could be, being foreigners in Thailand, we usually shouldn't go talk too much about political things here, but there is something interesting going on in Thailand with, like, these ideologies are like, what they're doing is they're attacking the fabric of a nation. So what can attack the West is different than in Thailand. Those same ideologies aren't effective here in Thailand. So the wokeness is kind of, I feel like Thailand has a natural, the wokeness just, it doesn't work here because the culture is different already. But I feel that there still is an attack. And one of them is like this, like in Thailand, there was a girl who maybe middle school or high school was like, didn't want to go to there's these Buddhist ethics classes kind of that are part of the school curriculum. Now, of course, in America, separation of church and state, freedom of religion stuff, that would be something normally I would be for that, but like I think, she has a right to do that. But Thailand's a different land, a different culture. It's founded under different principles. It doesn't have the American Constitution. And in this system, I feel like the objective wasn't actually about freedom. It was trying to undermine the fabric of society. So in Thailand, the way to undermine family values, because that's what I feel like it's about. It's all about attacking family values. Is what in the Western, I mean, what's going on in America and across Europe are just these. They're trying to break apart the families. What I feel, I don't know who and I don't know why exactly, but in Thailand, I feel like they, in order to do that, and even like same, obviously coming from America, it's like, we broke away from the monarchy, so it's part of our constitution to be against royalty. But in Thailand, it's such a part of that if they were to take, like, the king is kind of like the father of the nation, and they're trying to undermine the royal family. They're trying to undermine Buddhist principles, and in Thailand, that would be the way to take away the Thai identity. So I'm actually like, I'm watching it, and I'm watching it unfold, and I think it's like a new prime minister and stuff. I'm seeing like before in the past, I would have said, yeah, I would have been on that side. Yeah, freedom of speech, freedom of this. But I actually think for Thailand, I don't think that's a good thing to undermine these like pillars of what makes Thailand Thai. And if you were able, if you can take away the royalty, you know, and maybe, and you're of course come from a monarchy too, that would it be good to just demolish it, or could that actually fundamentally destroy what makes the nation?
Right.
So you can respond, maybe respond in England a little bit if it gets too, because there is the
Well, no, I'll talk about England because we've got a 1,000-year monarchy. I'm not a royalist. Having said that, you know, it's been around a long time. You know, and they're no more royal than a pet dog that you may have.
Sure.
It's something that's been around for a long time. Some guy, King John, he got a few guys around. He was a leader. He was inspiring, and he did shit, and then he got, you know, and then he declared himself to be king or the leader. You know, these things have been happening throughout time, especially in England. England's probably been one of the most invaded countries ever. You think of the amount of people who've invaded countries, you know.
That's why the English has all the Germanic and
exactly.
French and all, everything.
But I'm not a royalist. But however, going back to symbolism, Max Weber, going back to symbolism, in as much to say that she is Queen Elizabeth, King Charles now. They are there, Commonwealth. She dissipated. The Britain stopped the slavery originally. To start with, they all kicked it off. I think France followed and everything else, and then America followed after that, and so on. But the whole idea of having a union such as, you know, the European Union was to try and, you know, to keep the borders open, but to stay, you know, like massing numbers, strength, and she became the Commonwealth, you know, Queen of the Commonwealth, 40-odd countries. She's just a symbol. She represents the country. She has no power, not anymore. You know, we beheaded a couple of our King Charles I or second one, beheaded that. You know, we beheaded Anne Boleyn, and you know, because Henry VIII said you didn't produce a boy. Well, guess what, Henry? It is you that chooses the sex. You give the Y chromosome to her if you want a boy. Don't blame. But science and history has moved on. Now we know that's true. But so if you killed your missus, well, because she gave me a baby girl, you'd be up for murder. Simple as that. But back then, so I'm not against the royal family. They are simply there as a symbolism. However, in Thailand, it is ruled. It's a monarchy. We have a monarchy, but we're not ruled by one. We got a government, even though they've got a government here. But the king here is the monarch, and he's revered and looked up to way more than our monarchy now. Not saying nobody respects the monarchy, but we've had such turmoil within our monarchy, in particular. You know, we've got German, Greek, Spanish, Russian. Queen Victoria I had all these kids. Right, you go over to Russia, marry a Tsar's daughter. You go to Germany, and then hence World War One. It was between two cousins. You know what I mean? It's, you know, and it's like, this is what royal families do. I'm not saying Thailand, but British royal family. You know, they've been at war, and then the king goes to war. William of Normandy, when we come the Plantagenets, 300, 400 years of rule of French. All the words came into English. Fine, great. However, Harold, he looked up at the wrong time. From Arrow, allegedly, he was the last of the Anglo-Saxon kings. Now, life would have been so much different had he have not, because he's almost winning. But we got to take, that was it, Plantagenets. So, you know, would he have been better? You can't say. You can't say. It's just worked out okay, just because, and they were two kings. You know, so, and they used to go to war. They wouldn't do that now. King Charles won't go to war. So the whole thing is now, you know, it's simmering down, and we're not having battlefields and wars. We have wars using tanks, machines, airplanes. World War One started all that off, gas, and it's just progression. It's gone from the monarchy to the World War One to this. You know, even the Germans were on horses in World War Two. You know, get through the countryside.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is geared around land, greed, capitalism, call it what you like, land grabbing,
Yeah.
earls, lords. But Thailand's never been like that. It's just had the respect and be governed. And because of Buddhism,
Yeah.
it's almost the adhesive.
Yeah.
The Buddhism ideology keeps the nation together.
Yeah.
That's you know what I mean? The mindset of
No,
people.
I do. So I guess in short, like, because I'm out. I mean, I hardly even go into the city. I'm way out here. Like, I'm, my farming neighbors. I mean, we live in the orchard here, so I have no real neighbors. My only neighbors come in the daytime to harvest their lumyai if they're in season to water or do something.
Yeah.
And so and we're kind of hermits now. So it's like I have the impression that Thailand is woke proof, I guess. So do you think it's woke? Are we woke proof here? I mean, I feel pretty insulated from a lot of craziness that I see on the internet going on in other countries. I mean,
So what's already accepted, Chris? Male, female, straight, lesbian, gay, bi, katoi.
yeah, and that's already part of Thai culture. Pretty open, pretty open. Everyone's okay with it.
Yeah.
What I love about Thailand, is they make fun. Like, I see, like, men make fun of the lady boys, and it's funny to the lady boys too. Like at 7-Eleven, there's a lady boy, there's a lady boy and another guy. The guy makes fun of her with it. It's fun, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like and he's really good at it. He'll do mannerisms and stuff, but he's not. And then he'll respond to her, and they laugh. I mean, it's just like it feels so good to not have animosity between different I mean, there shouldn't be animosity between people's sexual preferences.
Well, the animosity comes from the lack of acceptance. The fact is that they're accepted in society. I accept them, you accept them, and many people do, and that's what it happens, what it has. Yeah, it's great, I love it. But they're not full of themselves. They dress themselves up. They know who they are. They don't hide it. They don't make any qualms about it. And some of them look fantastic. They do look like you could be easily fooled. But like I say, they've been in society. They have their own issues with society. The ID card never gets changed, but they're still accepted. And that's the beauty of the ideology in Thailand. The 90% of it is Buddhism. So they live and let live, don't kill anything. They're human. They have feelings. So the whole concept, it's not aggressive. I mean, they've never been in any wars. Look at Britain and England. I mean, Britain and England. Yeah, Britain and America, I meant to say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We love fighting. We love causing problems. We want to stand freedom of speech. And I'm going to identify now as a black lesbian.
Yeah.
It's like, are you serious? Are you damn serious? So if I'm a black lesbian, I can start throwing out the N word.
Yeah, no.
Where's it stop? Where's you draw the bloody line?
That's what I see as the
ridiculous
privileged mentality is the fact that that it's come to that you're able to complain about something that is at its root not really, it shouldn't be an issue. There are people with real problems. First world problems, all of it. I mean, even systemic racism, which is actually I've looked into. There are systemic racist things that should be addressed. But at the same time, there are arguments. It's like maybe by zip code. Those are like the geographical locations that are mostly Black or Hispanic or some sort of minority group. They're not 100%. So you can't just make the blanket claim. Okay, let's give all Black people money, all Mexicans money here.
You can't
It would be okay. Let's do something about this area. It is mostly minorities. We should address that fact. Why is it that way? But there are also some hillbilly white people in that area too, and they should also benefit from whatever infrastructure, like the poisoning of the water supply and the soil gets all these toxins and stuff. So these are real issues that should be addressed. But at the same time, those are probably less than like when we talk about actually, like in Africa, especially where
Oh,
you get these. I mean, the problems there, the fact that those are like, and what real racism is too, in a sense, is like, and I do talk about Ukraine a lot, and I do think it is significant, especially because we're getting closer to like, the legitimate possibility of a nuclear war, which makes it more significant on some levels. But it's like, there's more people dying in African children with weapons, like we don't hear enough about it, and we aren't doing enough about it, and we haven't sent this kind of aid that we have sent over to support this proxy war to really help. So I mean, to me, there are actually serious racial inequalities, but it's not within like America or something where that's not the issue. It's on a global scale, and I think it's disgusting to see. I feel sickened sometimes as an American to realize that like the things that Americans are complaining about, those are first world problems. Even George Floyd dying from a police officer, I mean, like getting his knee on him, and maybe he died of fentanyl anyway, and it's like it's not cool for authority to be using excessive force, but at the same time, like people are getting there's people getting dragged out of their houses and shot in front of their children every day. I mean there's much worse cases of excessive force in going around, and those issues aren't addressed. So it's like, really, everything I see in America that people are complaining about is a first world problem, and it's the more they complain about it, I think it's gonna turn around, and people are gonna rise up and do the same thing they did to like being, a white straight male. It's like, you're evil on every level. Eventually, these other countries, when they get a voice, somebody's gonna speak for them, and they're gonna point their finger at America and say, privileged Americans, and they're gonna be pointing to everybody, not doesn't matter what gender you identify with or what race you are, all of you guys. And I'm actually scared of that. I'm scared that it could be like it could seriously get to the point. I mean, if you look at like the Khmer Rouge, I mean, they could march into America, and with you could, right? I believe these ideologies, if you took these ideologies and gave them to like African and then invaded America, they would kill all Americans. You could convince just like the Khmer Rouge, they convinced all the people in the farmlands that all of your problems and troubles are because of these people in the city. Part of it, there's an aspect of truth there, imbalance of power, but they were able to convince all of these people to rush the cities and cause genocide on their own people. I believe we're nearing a time where if that Western, and I actually, this is like apocalyptic, crazy stuff I don't want to think about, but sometimes I worry about that being that they might turn on. They could definitely infiltrate some of these people who really have it bad. The real people who have like no food, no access to clean water. These people, and then they can just show them real footage of what's going on, like people complaining about what gender they are, and these children are have no clean water. If I were one of those people, and you showed me what was going on and what these people were complaining about, I would probably want to commit genocide on those people. I'm just trying to say we're in a dangerous position to not recognize this, to recognize where the real inequalities are. It's scary.
Well, for a country that's only 250 years old, you don't seem to be progressing. It seems to be prolonging the issue. And one of the problems, like they say, look at Thomas Sowell. A lot of black people are getting to know about this guy.
Soul? It would be nice.
Thomas Sowell, Sowell. Like so well.
Okay.
So he's an amazing. He's 92 years, and he's written don't know how many books, but he's at the Hoover Institute as a senior fellow. He's an amazing guy, and it's like, well, it's a pity that he was offered a government job. He said no. But a lot of black people now, African Americans, and I think even a lot of British black people should look into it, well, which I doubt. But they're starting to educate themselves by listening to them when they talk about slavery, and there were black slave masters in America. Not just it's not just the white man, or the white man. Black man was persecuted. The southern white men and women were persecuted equally as well, and the Irish, and the Italians, and the Jews.
Oh yeah.
So you can start, you're going to start singling yourself out, making out that you're the hardest done by, this victimization.
The pissing contest. Yeah, I hate to get into pissing contests. It's like, and I mean, I've suffered from a lot of racism in America. I don't want to get in a pissing contest about it, but it was clear. It was clear it was because of I was white and stuff. And it's like, but once you get into that, then it becomes a pissing contest, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be about that at all. It should be
Lloyd Mayweather. I said,
what's that?
Not African American. I'm American.
Yeah, I like
Morgan
that.
Freeman.
Well, the funniest thing that like I've heard some people. I mean, they would refer. I mean, well, there's another example. That's just an American centric concept. Like I heard people referring to like a black person in England as an African American from England or something. And then if they're actually from Africa, they'll be like an African American from Africa. And it's like, do you realize what you just said? Like that's ridiculous.
I think most of the black people in England, we didn't take them to England. They come to England. That was from Jamaica and West Indies. Because that's where we took them, in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean, as you might guys say. But because they volunteered, because we were king and country, that was the empire, because it was king and country and all this business, they volunteered 100,000 so to fight for our country. Hence the reason why I say, come on in. The Irish, after the war, got the Irish in, building the roads and the buildings. But my mates had a hard time back in my day, because the fact they were simply because they were Irish. Every Irishman was part of the IRA, the Irish Republic Army. No, they weren't. It was a small minority who wanted to break away from Britain, same in Scotland, but they chose to stick. So again, it's this malinformation, as you put it earlier. It's the lack of knowledge, or but not even listening to the facts, and that's what causes our problems. The language that what makes us humans, I've said this the third time now, language which makes us human is one of the biggest culprits that create problems by not communicating properly. Mm-hmm. And I don't care what colour you are. All right, mate, what's your name? I don't give a shit what your pronoun is. You want to be called she? Then well, fine, I'll call you by your name, John. All right, John, how's it going? Oh, you happen to be black. I'm sure as if you need to be reminded.
Yeah.
What's wrong with people? What's it bloody matter what colour someone is? I've never understood it. I've never understood it. I can understand why people are getting a bit irate because they've been told the white man did this, or the Chinese are mistreating the Uyghurs, and Genghis Khan killed loads of people, and the Berberi pirates took more white slaves North Africa than any African Americans, way more so. And it goes on and on and on. This is Thomas Sowell, and this guy does his research, and he really annoys people. He's brilliant. I could listen to him for hours. Yeah. He's a wonderful character.
Now that I think about it, I don't know. I do remember seeing some things. I don't know. I'm gonna check that out. It might be the whatever. No, I mean it is good, and yeah,
it's great, mate. Listen, and a lot of people should be listening to this guy.
I think I generally feel like we've reached the peak of absurdity. I think we're swinging back. The pendulum's flowing back. I don't know. Yeah. But, I mean, it went pretty far, and I say that it could get worse, but I'm thinking like I do still sometimes see the random. I think it's toned down. I think the pendulum is going to swing back.
Did you see that Canadian teacher, Chris? Canadian teacher, massive prosthetic boobs, huge things.
I mean, I think I did see something like that. Yeah,
that was he did it for a laugh.
Yeah,
he did it to test them. And the black guy said, the black guy, the headmaster. Again, I said the black guy because he was a black guy. But the headmaster, even then, see, that's what you should say. The head of the school, it didn't matter what color he was, but he supported him. He said, "Oh well, we support. He feels like this. Blah blah blah." Jesus, and they were absolutely huge.
Yeah, I did see it. I
That's
I don't know if I read the whole story. I just saw like a headline and saw it and just like I didn't. So he was joking. I didn't know. So they weren't real. They were just something you could put on.
prosthetic, yeah, prosthetic boobs, and
I mean, like something you wear or actually
yeah,
got.
yeah. You put them on,
So
put them
he didn't
on,
actually get a
and
okay,
he had a tight t-shirt, and the nipples were sticking through and everything. But the head teacher, the head of the school, he said,
because they were afraid. He was afraid to say anything. Like,
"Well, yeah, of course he was."
yeah,
The
that's
head
what's so terrible.
teacher,
So he's
yeah,
yeah. I like that people are doing these things. Like, yeah, it's sad that people aren't able to speak up because they care about their jobs or their
yeah,
positions, and it's. I mean, I give my hats off to the people that are standing up. I can understand why some people don't, but it's like once you get enough people standing up and pointing out just these
I
utter
quite like
absurdities.
Bill Maher. I quite like Bill Maher because
Yeah, he's good. He's good because he's pretty balanced. He's pretty central.
yeah,
Really, he's pretty
he's a true liberal.
reasonable. I don't agree with anybody, anything. Always, that's what the main thing. It's so easy to be like, oh, I don't agree with this guy because you. Of course, there's going to be some things you don't agree with,
Yeah,
but
of course.
he's pretty central, pretty. He points out absurdities from both sides, and
What do you know Noah? What's his name? Noah, South African guy, white father, white mother. No. Was it black mother, white father?
Peter
Either.
at
No. What's it? Something Noah. Hang on. He's a comedian?
or Jonah Hill. No,
Hang on.
no.
Uh, who's a South African comedian? Noah. Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah, right? He's mixed race,
Yeah,
lived
I'm
in
not
South
sure.
Africa. Right? He had his own TV show in America. He was being interviewed by uh, another woman from Africa, born in Britain, of African parents. Uh, and yeah, lovely, great interviewer. He started telling about his joke and saying that his dad, his mum was black. I think his mum was black and his dad was white. And then, I was born. He said, something about the blacks. He said, a couple would come up, yeah, no blacks, mate, no blacks. Get out of the area. And he's like, that's how he was treated in South Africa with the apartheid. But then he joked about, he said, oh, my dad liked chocolate, and he said, I was like milk chocolate. My mum was dark chocolate. And the reporter said, well, don't you find that offensive? He said, well, no, it wasn't offensive. My dad and my mother and father. I turned out to be the child, but I'm joking, saying my dad said he's always liked chocolate, referring to my mum. That's an endearing thing to say. It's not a
Yeah,
racist thing. But the BBC, because let's try and get him into a racial thing here, and so the kid said, "He's look, I'm half black. How can he sound racist? That's how we grew up. My dad liked chocolate. That's not a racial thing to say. That was my dad, and my mum seemed to be happy with it. So what's your problem? And that again,
it
that's
is.
just a
Well, it's fighting back. I see more of that. I see more fighting back, and it takes uniting. Everyone pointing it out because they're trying to pit us up against each other, and in every way, they're trying to pin against age. Old people against young people. Races against race, genders against gender, and we just have to come together and not let them do that. And I think it does take humor. Comedians are leading it. I mean, just like
they're getting trashed, aren't they? They're getting trashed. So scared to say anything anymore.
yeah, and well, that's and when it's like that, then they're winning. But a lot of comedians are coming forward. I mean, if you can point out, I mean, because comedians are intelligent. I mean, like they're able to identify, like they're able to get to the core of an issue.
Yeah,
And
Bill Burr.
oh yeah, for sure, yeah,
I like
absolutely.
Bill Burr.
So when you can get you can do that when you can get to the like address an issue, just point out how ridiculous, and usually you can let like anyway. I mean, yeah. So comedy is one of the comedy is the great healer in every way. Laughing heals your body. and then you know, comedians point out just absurdities. That's
Oh yeah. And,
yeah.
and when you look back in the history, let's be honest, you know, talk about white privilege and everything else. So look, let's get so much straight here. It was the rich people that did all the slavery business because it was a business, and there were
Oh, yeah.
black people, there were Indians enslaving Indians, there were Buddhists enslaving Buddhism, you know, Buddhism. That so
Oh
it's
yeah,
something that's
slavery
been
here
going
in
back.
Thailand went far longer than it wasn't
Yeah.
that long ago. I mean, maybe this century, you know.
You know, so this is what annoys me. This is where they should be addressing what's causing the friction. You people, by giving misinformation, the wrong information, or not opening up to the true facts, that the fact is slavery is not a white man's thing or a black man's thing or any other person's thing. It's more likely the rich, the people with money, and the reason why they weren't moved around because we didn't have the transport, and the British had the biggest navy, so they could. So that's when they got the ships. They could transport them across sea. A lot of countries in Africa, they just, if you were downtrodden, you become a slave in your own village because they couldn't transport anything. It was only a business venture. They would be chosen, they would be sold, and then the British and anybody else would take them. Now, like I said earlier, I'm not saying it's good. It's not right for anyone to be enslaved, no matter who you are and what color, religion, you know, sexual orientation you are. To be enslaved, anybody, child labor, this happens all the time.
Oh
There's
yeah.
like 45 million slaves running around
Oh,
the world now.
I mean,
So
it's
it's
for the most
absurd.
part, it's improving. I mean, from the time, I mean, you know, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, it was per capita much worse. And then and so yeah, I mean, it's
Spoils of war,
there's still a
Chris.
lot of ugliness, and we should continue fighting it. But yeah, let's focus on where it's at, because there are real atrocities going on,
Yeah,
and
spoils of
they're
war.
not getting addressed. The most significant issues are being overlooked. For maybe there could be some issues about inequalities in like Western countries, but for the most part, you know what, you're not gonna, like, we're not gonna iron out all those wrinkles. There's, you know, there's inequalities on many different levels, but like there is some serious atrocities going on in the
Well,
world that we
you
need to
think about
address.
what do you think about then reparations? Like Thomas Sowell talks about reparations. Well, what about we got invaded by the French? We got invaded by the Anglo-Saxons. We got invaded by the Vikings, rape and pillage. The Japanese invaded Beijing, raped and pillaged. Even Muhammad raped and pillaged. Crusades. But you know, this is all
Yeah,
religious.
I don't think it's yeah, it's not really
So what about the women? What about
function.
reparations for them women that got raped? You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I mean, think of all them poor women. Blokes weren't getting raped; they were just getting killed. Okay, you're out the game. But what about them poor women and the children? You know, who
Yeah.
hasn't created or invaded Genghis Khan, the Mongolian? You know, who hasn't done this throughout the
Yeah.
world? So, you know, when you talk about reparations, like Thomas Sowell said, it will be the biggest, you know, paying out. I tell you what they don't need, what they need, not reparations. They need in Detroit, they need to have jobs. They need to have jobs creation. They need to have the infrastructure so people get fair wage, fair place to live, food on the table,
Access to
family,
clean food too. Those
exactly,
places are
and water and things like
food
that.
deserts. Yeah, they're food deserts in those cities. Cities have,
Yeah.
there's no access to fresh food.
Look at California, on the street of California,
Oh yeah.
in tents and everything. You wouldn't believe it. It's one of the richest states, if not one of the richest parts of the world. It's in the top 10 richest parts of the world. It's only a bloody state.
Yeah.
It's bigger than England, I must admit, but it's only a state in one country. But it's so wealthy. And yet it's like, what the hell's going on? That's what people need. They don't need money reparations. They need to be housed and be given decent living accommodation, clean water, electricity, a chance to get a job so they can have some dignity and going to work and go up the ladder themselves instead of giving bloody handouts. That's called social security. And that is part of the problem as well. Holding you got a blow, you got a husband with you. No, okay, we'll pay you, we'll pay your housing. And as soon as the dad comes back, gone, finished, stopped your payments. So the social security, that they introduced, that holds people back.
Mhm.
That holds people back. You know why? Because we're in control of you. You earn a little bit extra on a Saturday, we stop your benefits. And that's what they do. So people just sit on their ass, eat garbage food. Why? Because they haven't got the money. They can only eat processed foods because it's cheap. You can get a $1.50 McDonald's, where you're going to get a burger and the bun and the lettuce and everything else. You're not going to get that for $1.50. But that's what everything connects through capitalism, but it's not people, it's the greed of the people who have got the money, the JP Morgans, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, these people who took over the world. Basically, they're the true owners of the country. Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. Rothschilds in England, Rockefellers UK, America, and the JP Morgans, who he screwed Nikola Tesla. America and Britain, I think, great countries, but not that great. Opportunities there, go and work and everything else, but it's not getting any better. I think they're both getting worse and worse and worse, especially with this new type of culture coming in, trying to cancel everybody's past. People fought for your country, died in the war, First and Second World War and Korean War and everything else, trying to keep you safe. And you come out with this BS attitude saying, oh, my feelings are hurt. Go to war then. Go and do something useful with yourself. Put the right clothing on and go and join the army. Start, running your country down and making out everybody's got to go with you or worry about your bloody feelings. Nobody's worried about the people who went to war. 18, 19-year-olds going to Vietnam, not coming back in a box. How do they feel? What about their reparations? People who've fought and died for you. And I'm not a patriot, but I respect the fact that I did a weekend away in my army. I did a part-time territorial army. I did army cadets and that, but I turned it away because the IRA, I would 17 up, I would have gone to Northern Ireland, told that he would do Northern Ireland tour, and that was the IRA, very rife, blowing up, killing soldiers. And
military is a business of killing people. I mean, there's no way.
It's terrible.
If
why would you want to shoot someone you don't know?
And if you can, there are situations obviously where you got to buckle down and fight, but like these wars aren't fought. If it's about freedom, then it's about freedom. But if it's about some sort of just
land gaining
type, you're just moving around some geopolitical disputes that aren't I would love to see America just bring all its troops home, build up create a fortress. I mean, America's lucky; it's got the oceans to protect them. You can see missiles coming in a little sooner. Got Canada. Canada's our friends and stuff. So it's like, Mexico too is an ally for the most part now, but I mean, we treat them like shit sometimes. And then just like there's so many American military bases, bring them all home. Yeah, build walls. I mean,
just look after your
I'm not
people.
against the military to protect your country, but man, to go infiltrate all these other things and getting involved in all their stealing resources and stuff, it's terrible, and it's
I'm
making
not
the world
with
a
the
safer place.
What do you think about guns then? I mean, Britain doesn't. There are guns in Britain, but you can't go in a shop and buy a gun. Okay, if you license and that, just because you're licensed and you can carry it on you, doesn't mean so that you're going to be responsible. Or the chances are you might flinch. You go, oh, get out, and then panic or something without reading the situation.
Yeah,
whatever.
I personally never wanted a gun for that reason. I believe guns make you more likely to get shot. Owning a gun, I think you're more likely to get shot if you own a gun. Just like I like Thailand because we're not nuclear armed. I think I feel safer that we're not nuclear armed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you have nuclear weapons, you're a target. So in that respect, I don't want guns, but I do think that unfortunately it goes both ways, because I think Americans might need guns. There could easily be a civil war coming, and it might get ugly. It could easily. I mean, it only takes a little bit to make like a West Asian dispute occur in America. I mean, people think, oh, it's America's. could easily happen. And especially the way that the borders they were letting all these people through, and we don't know where they're from. It's not Mexicans crossing the border. It's the Mexican border, but they're everywhere. There's Russians, there's Chinese, there's Europeans,
Payment
there's
asylum and
Africans.
all that
We don't
business.
know who they are, or I mean, they're probably they're going to infiltrate, and they could easily. And after we saw what went on with, like Black Lives Matter, just the orchestration of it, forget the ideology behind it, just how well orchestrated they were. Like they were systematically, there was organization there, and they all struck at the same time. Like I said, terrible. Even at the same time it's going on in America, it's going on in Europe. Like, how is that even relevant? That I feel that there could easily be a civil war, and it could happen overnight.
Well, and
the way social media is, they would blast it, and then people would pick up on it, and then we would be like promoting it without even knowing that we're part of the propagation, because we'd see these videos, and then so for me, I think I'm more of a constitutionalist. It's in the Constitution, so I'm like, get your guns, but I don't want to be a part of it. So it's like, I do believe in having your right, and I think in America's case, they might need those weapons to defend themselves, but those are also going to be used. My perspective is, I want to get the hell out of it. I could actually feel these things brewing up for my entire life. I felt I feel like we are moving towards a thing of like some serious conflicts.
It's not getting better, it's getting worse.
And I want to get out of there. I wanted to get out of there all the time, I feel pretty safe here. And people, I mean, I've seen they've got like makeshift guns, like in Japan, that the ex prime minister was shot with there's like a hand, somebody welded a gun. I mean, I think you can 3D print guns now, so it's like, and people, I mean, you can kill people with knives and everything. It's like, I mean, for me, the anecdote for me is kind of move away from populated cities. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't like going in populated areas. I don't like being in anywhere that doesn't have a clean escape route, that doesn't have access to water for like at least weeks or months. Like, and I see like buildings and a lot of cement. It just doesn't look like a safe place. It's not a place that I'd want to be when shit went down. So
it's funny that America and Britain, they happily have had civil wars within their own country. In the UK it was more religion, whereas that's how you finished the slavery. This was the Civil War. Funny way of doing it, but Lincoln did all right there at the end of the day. But there were the feds, down the south, there were there were slave owners, white slave owners, black slaves fought for put the uniform on. All due respect to them, because they probably thought, well, I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing. I'll get some food.
Yeah.
I've got Thomas Sowell said this in the 30s and 40s and things like that. Even though racism was pretty high, and nobody's denying that. But other cultures have been put upon, like the Irish, the Jews, the Italians. So it's not just a colour thing. It can be a societal thing where you simply come from, and you've got a stigma. You carried a stigma over there. Irish went there for the potato famine. We don't want you here. Back in England, good to do the roads and the buildings, but you don't want them, but you want them doing the work. It's like, so we all had this. So both of our countries, sadly, have had within in-house civil wars. Now, I think that, to be honest, is part of the problem as well, because if we are so divided, the north and south of England, the same in America, you got the East Coast, the West Coast, but it's the north and south that have had that conflict. Because you think about it, America, the first 13 states, they bought a few states. They bought Alaska, they bought it off the Russians and things. So they bought states. So you've had this in-house.
Louisiana purchased 15 million from the French. That was a good buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, a Otherwise, they'd be there already on Canada's doorstep. But having civil wars is total disruption within the society itself. You wouldn't think that you were in the same country. And when you get that disparity between a country in itself, like North and South Korea, there's another one. But Britain in particular, and in the UK and you know and America, they're quite happy to fight each other. We are fighters, you know, and you know, America's like, you know, we're the most powerful in the world, you know, we're their allies, and Britain has been invaded, so we love the British Empire. We've gone off killing people, and you know, it's almost in our blood, you know, to fight and to get involved with proxy wars and things like this. You know, it's like, oh, because it's money. We'll supply the tanks. Give us some money. You know, it's business. They you know, they pay for the World War I and II. America, and I think probably Britain joined in as well, because it's business. They like war. They like people being ill. It's business, and that's all government. And that's what's the sad thing about it. It's our governments are completely ruining it for the majority of people who vote you in. You know what they should do? Stop voting. Just don't vote for anybody. We're not voting for you. We don't need a government. Well, you need a government. Just run the country. What about the infrastructure, the roads, the schools, the education, clean water, people being able to eat and clothing, and have some shit? What about you deal with that, and we'll deal with the rest? You know, we've got to work, do this, but they completely screw it up for everybody. It's such a tragedy. And I love America. I'd love to go there, but your government, same as Britain. I don't know much about Britain really, but I do lots of American stuff, to be honest. I don't know why, but I do. But it's your government sucks. And it's so sad, because the people, nothing wrong with the people. Nothing wrong with the people. And this racism and things like that, it's overinflated.
It is. I don't think the issue. I mean, I
don't think it's that bad.
When I'm on the ground, it's not there. There isn't that animosity. Yeah. It's only in social media you see it.
Yeah.
Really, like I never come across it. I mean, it's been isolated cases, and like I said, I've been targeted as much as I've seen it targeted. I mean, it happens, and it's ugly. And when there is racism, it's like everybody like shames somebody that does something. I mean, they come together, like people help each other. Like there is when you know that.
I think majority of us people, humans, I think are generally
compassionate,
respecting each other. Yeah, you know, we don't really give a shit what color you are. Or I think it's interesting, like, you know, saying like, oh, where are you from? Oh, Guyana. Oh, what you know, what are you doing here? You know, just chat.
Yeah.
You know, just where are you from? Oh, wicked. Oh, Kenya. I'd love to go to Kenya. What's Kenya like? You know, I'd like to go on safari. You know, talk about his culture and you know, so what's it like? You know, and get into it. You know, and I'm not trying to be, oh, why you got to ask him? What's it matter where he comes from? Because I'm interested with the guy, where he comes from. You know, what's your culture like? And you go to Africa and you start talking about how many genders, or can a man be pregnant? They laugh. They look at you and they're going, what are you talking about?
I mean, 10 years ago, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know how I mean, I feel like they won. Like I said, they've won that we even can talk about it.
Yeah.
Somewhat seriously, about it, as if it's actually an issue to be discussed. They won. Yeah. They won that.
Yeah, basically shut up. They're not interested. Yeah. You've heard my feelings. I'm a he and a she and a them and a there. I don't give a shit, to be honest. What's your name? I'll call you by your name. Michael. Oh, nice to meet you, Michael. I don't care what pronoun you are. I'll call you Michael. You know,
no, it's funny. I mean, I always think about like APA writing. You know, you write like you're not supposed to say they for a singular, but I actually always write things in plural and they. That like when I talk about in general, I'll say like, you know, if I were to say psychologist, I wouldn't say a psychologist should do this, and then my next sentence I'm like he or she. No, I'll go back and say psychologist. And then they. So I'm referring to a group of people and then they.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine.
That's how I do it academically, and just avoid it. I rather not talk about.
Oh, because I hate it. Why can't I write in the first person and write and tell you what I found? So the researcher.
Yeah, I would like that would be the best. Yeah.
I'm too subjective, and
Yeah.
that's what I get told. You,
Yeah.
you can't say that. You can't say that. So what do you mean I can't say? It's what I found. The researcher, yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
I found the researcher. My name's on the bloody article, and it's just absurd, unnecessary garbage, academic garbage. It's unnecessary. Someone trying to be smart, trying to be clever. And when I did my masters, Kim Willis, I think it was Kim Willis actually said it. Said, "Oh, you're referencing, and it's got to be APA and this." And I said, "Look, I don't really. I'm losing marks." And I said, "To be honest with you, Kim, I said I don't care. To be honest, I'll lose marks.
Yeah.
There's the information there. That's what I got it from. If it's not quite in the right order, I said I'm done with it." And that's what I said. Okay, we'll mark it. And and no, I didn't get very good. I only got through my masters but I did have a heart attack after the postgrad. I had a heart attack,
Okay.
and then I had to start my thesis, and it was hard work.
Yeah.
So I'm not an academic, I must confess. I'm
Give it to
a
me.
teacher.
Give me that line. I quoted you, but I misquoted you. I love it. Give me it. Give me the line about theoretical brilliant. There's no point in being theoretically brilliant.
Oh, right. It's no good.
How does it go?
Yeah, it's no good. It's no good being theoretically brilliant if you're practically useless.
Yeah, I love it. I love that.
You know what I mean? Talk a good shot,
No.
but talk a good fight. Get in the bloody ring.
Yeah.
Show us your stuff.
Absolutely. No, I like that because it keeps me honest too, because I think coming off my doctorate, I have that theoretical brilliance, but you know what? I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I do have the theoretical knowledge that I could provide some therapeutical.
Absolutely, of course you could.
But I need, but I want more practice and stuff too. So like I'm there's some people I'm mean with, and it's like I'm just not at the point yet to like take money or try to because I'm teaching English and that's kind of my thing. I'm gonna probably transfer kind of take clients eventually, but it's like that's more like 5, 10, even 20 years down the road when I'm kind of like right now I'm still in the I'm still learning. I love the mind. I love talking. I love trying to find out more, and it's more of like an exploration. So like I did it too with my research when I talked to people, because I had to disclose that it's not therapy, it's research. So I'm going to be asking you sensitive questions. And they there may be benefit from them. I think most of the people that I had interviewed were able to, generally speaking, is beneficial. Just like this podcast. That's another thing I really like doing. It's like, it just feels good it's cathartic to speak and to have some communication, like you said, I mean, with language, and that's what we need, is just
it's killing societies. These bloody things, mobiles, are harming society. They are ruining human relationships, because the youth of today, no, I'm not blaming them because they're around. I'm sure if I'd have been their age, I've got one, but I'm sure if I was their age and they were around, I'm sure we would have been wetting our pants thinking, this is awesome. However, we were fortunate that we didn't have to go over them. But what the problem is, the algorithms that they use to keep them, especially TikTok. TikTok. I keep saying, get off TikTok.
Yeah,
get off TikTok.
I have a TikTok, man. That thing's even too much. Yeah, it's way too that thing goes. Like I like listening to like videos and people talking. Those are just like crack. Like, that's like social media on crack. I have a TikTok. I mean, I post some things to TikTok, but the things I post to TikTok, they're short little videos, so I'm part of it. But I'll add all these effects, and it'll be like Chaya doing something, like put a little music behind them. I mean, they're fun, but they're just like, it's just like quick movement. It's like, it's ridiculous.
I don't like TikTok. They steal your information, and they're 15, 20 seconds long.
Yeah, I don't like
kids can't even concentrate, have a conversation anymore. Can't even put a sentence together without having to look at the phone. Or, I did an article. I mean, I'm trying to work on it. I have to rework on it, but probably might not happen now. But saying about how mobile phones are harming human relationships, because they are. You if you've got your phone you're out, you're chatting away, or we're out for a meal, or we're having a beer, or whatever the case may be, and you got your phone on show. What you're subliminally telling this person, my phone's on there, so you are not the most important
Yeah.
right now. Because if that goes ping, I'm going to look at it.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, whoever that is that they're looking at, if they were with that person and the person that they're actually with were to message them, they would probably do the same thing. So it's actually not even that this person is more important, because it's just that the phone, yeah, itself is more important than
If you
the
start,
person.
if you get your phone out, you start texting, you watch the people around you, they all get the phone out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forget what it's
Everyone's
called
waiting
now.
to see who. Well, that's nice though. It is nice. I have noticed that sometimes. Yeah, you got to. Who's the strongest? Who's the weakest? Who's the first person to do it? Once one person does it, it's cascade. But if everybody can just
Yeah,
hold their own and not break it out, we can really go places, man.
it's sad. I think myself. I love mobile phones, love internet and AI and that. But you got to think, right? You got to learn to draw the line. You got to know when to stop. You got to know when to shut up. And sometimes I've not done that. I've not learned to shut up because I'm a talker. I used to be an actor on stage, and I don't fear standing up in front of people. But I am very aware of the fact that yes, I know I can talk for England, and I've been told that many times. But I don't hold that against myself. Like I know I'm just excited. I'm passionate. I've got passion, and I'm passionate, and so yeah. That's what the guy said the other day. I said, oh yeah. I said, I'm just trying to impress you, or just trying to get as much information to you
Yeah.
in such a short time, so you try and pack it in. But obviously, when you come teaching, student time is more important than teacher time,
Oh
and
yeah.
so on and so forth. So, you're getting them to elicit conversation. I say, that's a great system. I like that. Rather than grammar, just use the target language, and it's target based teaching. So there's a target and a lesson to be learned. So that's what it's all about. But again, he said that I said I totally understand that. I said I don't mind you saying that, but other people have said that.
Yeah.
But that's me. But when I'm quiet, get this. When I'm quiet,
People are like,
you're right.
what's wrong?
You're right.
Yeah.
All the bloody time. You okay? Yes.
Oh yeah. You
I've
add
just been
life.
quiet.
Oh yeah. No, or if you didn't show up or you were in class one, yeah, when you're, I remember because I used to be right across from you, in our offices, and yeah, when you leave, or you lock up to go to class or something, and the whole floor quiets down, and so that energy leaves. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're a key part. Oh, what would they do without you if
I
that
don't, I
really?
don't, I don't, I don't know, mate. I'll keep you informed. I will go to Hadyai tomorrow at some point in the
Yeah, from what
afternoon.
I heard, I think Solania maybe just putting I mean, she might be kind of as dirty of a trick as it is, just trying to like poke at you. Maybe it is just a big old hoax. I mean, it sounds like
Well,
it
well,
sounds like.
I've got no course next semester. The new guy emailed me, said I'm
Oh,
doing.
you don't. Oh, they're already out. Oh, they are. You did
Oh,
say somebody was teaching your
I've been
classes.
told that I've got nothing planned. So I
Yeah.
don't know whether they're going to get me to keep doing research and
Okay.
then jump in the IELTS course on September. I've no idea. I've got no idea if they're going to renew my
Yeah, it is probably
passport.
a lot of rigmarole if but your missus already did contact, uh, like
Well, this woman, yeah, she talked about,
talk
the
live,
length of time I've
and then
heard.
contact the university and talk to somebody like. I mean, it's kind of good to just give them an idea that okay, maybe it wouldn't be worth. Uh, it's going to cause us more trouble to try to, you know, not renew his contract for no reason.
They've given me no time, Chris.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
27 and a half days, which is not the right time. It's like the fact is their claim of what they're claiming is that we don't feel as if you're able to do your job. And my question is, on what evidence? On what
yeah,
premise? What are you talking about? Which one of you thinks this? And not one of them will say, well, I do. Okay, why? Well, wrong. Next, I do. Well, wrong. Let's have a look at the graph. how many hours you've done and I've done last year, and you're sitting here claiming that I was unable to do my job. Yeah, and so these people, whoever they are, whoever the committee is, they haven't thought it through, and I'm not angry with them. I just want a chance to defend myself and tell them, say, hey, come on, you know me. So I'm one of the family, and you're on about my health. Can't wait to have you back. And then you go and do this to me. Sad. I'm just glad that I'm just happy that I'm not like that. But I will not sit back and relax, or sit back and think, yeah, okay, just mess up my life, just ruin it. I gotta go out of the country and get another tourist visa and all this crap. So I will go to a place in Hawaii, and if I have to borrow some money off John, 20,000 or something, I will go and get a dependence visa where I will not have to rely on. When I get married, but I'll get a dependence visa. I think it's 35,000 or something for the year. Then I can sit and relax and think, well, okay, I need some more work.
Sure. And something that might even blossom out of it. That's just, opportunities.
I feel confident that I'll get something, but to push me like this, and again, she said a couple of days, and I've yet to hear from her. She's leaving me to suffer, leaving me to soak. Do whatever you call it, what you like. It's not nice. It's cruel. It's not the way you, especially when you've known the answer from Monday. And maybe when I spoke to her, maybe she wanted to have a little couple of days to think about it. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'll give you that. And just say, or even line me. Hi, Philip. I haven't forgotten about you. I will be in touch with you soon. Please don't worry. None of that.
Yeah.
Is ever said, don't worry. Well, obviously I do need to worry. Your job's fine. Well, obviously not. So this saying something for the sake of it, I'd rather not listen to it. I'd rather not you say anything. I don't know the outcome. I don't know the answer. I don't know what we're going to do as of yet. Rather than saying, don't worry about your job will be fine, when you don't know it's going to be fine. So building me up, thinking, oh, I'll be all right then. Take some time out, No, I'm okay. I'll work. Then put me onto sick leave, and then tell me that I'm not going to get renewed visa. Well, then my doctor's going to be, well, hang on. They don't think you can do your job. Like I've said it earlier, I know, but you can't do your job, but they expect you to still do research. Yes, you explain that to me, because I have no idea, and I'm not gonna get stressed out. I got stressed out to start with. I am concerned, but I'm a lot more relaxed about it now, because I need to be relaxed.
Yeah,
I cannot fall into suffer anxiety, or even suffer and fall into depression. I know what it's all about. I know all the symptoms, and I know that I had to keep away from it. Positivity, positive attitude, talk to people. If anything, do anything, call someone, talk about it. You need a listener. Got to be a good listener. You're doing cognitive behavioral therapy, psychology,
that's all it is.
Psychiatric. You got to be a bloody good listener.
Yeah, it's not about that's what I think. Yeah, the therapy is just speaking. That's cathartic, and it's not like, that's what I've come to find. It's not like there's advice to be given. It's more, if there is, it's very subtle, pointing out maybe some small things, or asking the right questions to maybe help kind of find your own answers. But yeah, it's all about talking, man.
Yeah, it's almost like the tree and the root business. It's almost saying, no, you got to get to the root of it. Literally, it could be down there that's infested, or it's gone wrong. However, you may not want to know, well, who planted this. You may want to know how long the tree's been here. Well, that's even more so. We should save it. It's been here 200 years. Blimey, So it gives you that sort of motivation. So let's save this tree. Oh, it was only planted last week. It's quite big, but we'll let it die. Then there's plenty of others. I don't know, but maybe that's not a very good example. But getting to the root cause of the problem, that the branches, the leaves, or the apples are going through. Must be a root thing or something. You get bad roots in that. You get diseases. It happens in plants. But you get into the root cause. You actually get into the root cause. That's where it comes from. The saying, get to the root cause of the problem, and that's what a lot of medical people don't do.
Oh yeah, no.
Psychologists, psychiatrists, psychologists, any therapist, they get down to the roots. Like, you talk about, you said earlier, what about your life? What's going on with your life? Tell me about your everyday things. What's your daily routine? And and you can see, no, I've got the energy. And well, okay, well, what do you think's creating that lack of energy? Are you eating well? What's your diet like? You need to ask
Well, it's
you need
kind of
to
like the
ascertain.
home visit. I like the doctors back in the olden days when doctors would do the home visits, and
Yeah,
then they can see the whole. They might recognize something that
yeah,
you're
yeah,
not going to
yeah,
get in those 15-minute interviews, checklists and stuff. If
yeah,
when a doctor can visit a home visit and they see children
yeah.
yelling in the background, messy
Got
floors or
bronchitis.
dirty and black mold on the ceiling or whatever,
Yeah,
they're going
yeah,
to notice something. Oh, there's the problem.
yeah. Bronchitis. Someone's smoking over there.
Yeah,
Huh. Ashtrays around.
yeah,
Damp. It's going to affect your bronchial and then your breathing. What's up? Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, that's breaking it down. So, well, what's causing this?
yeah.
It's like an accident. What or a murder? You become detective. Just measuring the skid marks, or looking at the blood trail, or looking for the evidence. You got to break it down and say, this is the gun that was used. This is the culprit. This is why they did it. Jealousy, whatever. So they actually make a complete picture of how it started, when it happened, and what the consequences are, and where do we go from here. He goes to jail or whatever, in his psychiatric treatment, whatever. But you've got to start from the beginning. When did this start? You can't jump in and find some fingerprints saying you killed her.
Sure. Yeah.
What, just because my fingerprints are on the gun? What if it's not the gun that was used? Oh, didn't think of that. So you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
rocket science, but
Yeah.
you've got a lot of digging to do. And when you're trying to create a lesson for a student, you need to understand what they need. What does this student need? What does this student expect? What are they going to get from this? And if you've done your homework and you can self create a lesson to a certain student, well, then they're going to benefit from that. If you just give them a load of garbage, oh, here's a unit book, we're doing unit one, we're doing marketing, great, we're doing social psychology, great, we're doing festivals, you know, what I mean? So how important is that?
Yeah.
Or some topic matter. That's like they do. Was it Thai life, quality of life, or something like that, or
Oh yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
some.
Like
It's like
checking off those yeah, I remember, yeah.
it's like, well, to what advantage, to what benefit is this course going to help these people?
Mhm.
Why aren't we doing? I put a proposal in to do sociology, an actual course. They do social psychology. I said you can't do social psychology without looking at the whole picture, because the person individually has come from a society, and that is part of their makeup, and that is part of their who they are and their mindset. Like the Southerners in or the Northerners in England say, they've always been, the Northerners are thick, the Irish are thick, stupid. It went on for years. And so, it's like, why are you calling them thick? What do you mean they're thick? What do you mean? They work down the mines and the factories and that. Do you want to do it? No, they're not thick. That's the only employment they've got up there. Or because they didn't have the right education. And then you don't put people down like that, doing jobs like that. You should be saying, good for them. They're down there getting all our fossil fuel and doing whatever, building the roads and the bridges. They're keeping our infrastructure up and running. They're not thick people. They're hard-working people. Just because they don't have an education like you doesn't make them stupid. And you get painted and tarred with the same brush, and on the assumption, like these people, what, because I've been sick, but I'm recovering, you now assume that I'm unable to do my job. I know I look a bit strange. Well, I'm not going to look like this forever. I'll get my hair back, and my weight will be put on. But why are you holding it against me? It's very cruel. And it's a lot of the issues are like this. A lot of problems are caused because of people are not empathic. They don't have any sympathy. They don't care. It's not their problem. And you need a loving, you need a good ear, a loving heart, and someone who's prepared to say, "Hey, is everything okay?" I watched this guy on YouTube. He goes around saying, "Oh, you got a couple of dollars?" He said, "I'm really hungry," and some of these people have got nothing. Well, I got a dollar. I can help you with the dollar. And he said, "Oh, thanks very much." Sure, yeah. And he goes to walk away. He said, "Actually, I got something for you." And he gives him an envelope with $500 in it, or $1,000 in it. You know, $1,000. Why? Is it because you're the first person who actually made an offer, and yet you've got nothing yourself, and yet you were prepared to try and help me? And you get these people on the street saying, "Well, you know, man, it's good to be kind to people, and we all need help sometimes." And he said, "Here's $1,000," and they're in tears. They're in tears, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And it's like, what a beautiful kindness, a beautiful human beings, that we could be so beautiful to each other and so kind, and yet it's so not even balanced, not even nowhere near. It's like these people are down there, and the rich and famous or whatever are up here, and they don't care what's down there. And the reason why they're down there, because there's more of them than there is of these. You know, and that is a beautiful thing to do. You know, say, "Well, I'm going to help you." Shaq O'Neal. Yeah, he's loaded, but he's such a philanthropist. He walks around the supermarket, he's got nothing else to do, and he sees people going, "Are you okay? Are you okay? You got money for that?" And so a little boy said, he said, "I saw you looking at the bikes. You want a bike?" The little boy, "Yeah." He said, "Go and ask your mummy if I can buy you a bike." It's fucking beautiful. You know, I mean, he's got the money, but he just helps many people. Because he thinks, "Well, I had nothing once." Same as the black guy does Family Feud. Steve, someone. Black guy, bald head, great guy, comedian. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey. He does the same. You know, people like that. You know, they just go around giving money. George Michael, who died about 10 years ago now, bless him. No, 2016, 7 years ago. He died, but he gave millions away. Unbeknown to a lot of people, gave millions away to help. And it's just so beautiful. And that's what we need. We need more people in the world that are like that. Not giving money away, but offering to help, being there for you, being there just to listen to you, help you with your shopping, anything. You got no food? Well, I got a couple of quid, a couple of bahts. Yeah, you get some food. You know what I mean? There should be a lot more. But that's what's here at the moment. Ginkariang, have you eaten yet?
Yeah. That is.
It's a nice touch. No, and they'll give you their last meal. And that's what Thailand's got still. Family values, kindness, empathy. Not always, but majority. And I'm talking about the big majority. They've got these traits. They've got these qualities about them that they will give you the last meal they've got. They will help you out if they can. They're just, nobody's perfect, but they've still got their family values, and I think we've lost them in Britain and America. I think your family values, unless
the religious, unfortunately, it's unfortunately, I've always been like
religion.
I am finding myself more supportive of, we can call them Christian values. I would just call them family values, but those before I would have been like just that the whole. I mean, I still don't. I think it's so deep. I think all the stories from religion have hijacked ancient human wisdom that goes back thousands and thousands of years before they created that religion. But there are some fundamental truths in there.
Absolutely.
And
love thy neighbor. Love thy neighbor.
They transcend the religion. Those are common sense and ancient human wisdom. And unfortunately, though, that we might depend on I'm not
against religious people. Good luck to you. If you believe in that, fine. I don't have to believe in it. People don't ask me to believe in it. But I do see that the Christian, values in particular. I can only talk for Christianity and even Islam. My missus
Well,
is Muslim.
Islam even more so. In fact,
Yeah,
I could actually see there being I could see a lot of people converting to Islam because of, I mean, I think they already have probably, but I mean, I see like different movie stars pop up and say that they're changing, but essentially it's the same. I think if you were Christian, it would be easy to convert. Like somebody that's never been either one of those, I don't ever think I would ascribe to those. But Islam has stood
they're
stronger
interchangeable,
in
aren't
the
they?
face of wokeism, and there's a lot of Christianity has been hijacked by I think I saw the Pope. I don't know. See, I don't know now what's photoshopped or like AI, but I swear I saw the Pope walking around with like a rainbow flag or something.
Oh, it's probably.
I don't know if
AI.
it was real. So you don't know. I don't know. But I mean, I'm just like, is that even like? I mean, what? It's not. Again, it's like what's the purpose
Islam.
of this?
Islam's more like Judaism. People say it's Christianity. No, Christianity simply came about because of Jesus.
Yeah,
If he had not have resurrected, which he obviously didn't, but had he have not gone through that nonsense, Christianity wouldn't exist. But Judaism, they pray so many times a day. They
yeah,
have Ramadan. They have Yom Kippur.
yeah.
As well. You're
Yeah, I
fasting.
look at Christianity and Islam as both kind of
No,
Judaism, but they're different. Yeah, they're
they are
not as
different.
connected to each other. They both have that common root.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they derive from Judaism, but Judaism and thing why Islam's like Judaism, because when Muhammad was around, if he was around at a certain time, and whether he was in Mecca, there's lots of dubious
yeah,
lack of facts there. But I don't think it was in Mecca. I think it was in Petra, and it was the Nabateans. He was a Nabatean. However, he went up to Yathrib, which was now Medina, Yathrib, because there was a lot of Jews up there, and he was getting not back in Mecca, the Kaaba. You're ruining our, because it's a market. Go away with your nonsense and all this business and the deities and doing all that business. He went up to Yathrib because there were more Jews up there, and he took a lot of Judaism with him, what he'd been reading or not reading or listening to, and then he started preaching that because they didn't go on his, they didn't want him in Mecca. They
yeah,
kicked him out. The Quraysh tribe, which he's from, said, "Look, bugger off." So he went to Yathrib, and then he made a name for himself because he started getting people on his side because he was preaching what their narrative. As long as you preach the
yeah,
narrative, you're going to go well. You're
yeah,
going to do well. And that's how he started. And then he went back down to Mecca with an army and everything else. But the guy was a warlord.
oh yeah,
And he had wives and all this business. I got the Quran on my computer, and I know quite a lot about it. The hijab. It wasn't hijab. It was a headpiece that went behind the ears and went down the back. It may be here in front, but the women used to wear it tight, like Hindus. They used to wear a tight top. You could see the midriff. And in the Quran, they tell men to lower your gaze. That's hijab. Right, hijab. The piece between you and your confession, your priest, when you talk to Muhammad or one of his wives, that's hijab. You got to scream in front of you. When it says to cover up your body, and what they used to do wasn't the head. They used to put it from the head and bring it in front of their body to cover the midriff. I think it says bosoms or breast, but not breast. It's chest or something like that.
cleavage,
It doesn't. It's got nothing to do. Hijab is nothing to do with covering the head. And again, this is Muslim scholars who are Islam Muslims or Arabs. Al-Faydi used to be Muslim. He's now turned into Christianity. But all this referencing, all the Mecca stuff, it's not as truthful as they want it to be. All the prophets in the past, they're supposed to have all been buried there, and all this building they've done, they've not found any graves. But a lot of it is it's not in Mecca. Mecca was a desert. There was no olive trees. There's no rivers and greenery. It was up in Petra, and that's where it was in Petra. But again, this is all Islamic scholars and that saying this. People who can read Arabic. The Quran itself has got 30 odd copies. It's not divine. It's not one eternal. It's just 30 different ones. And I think it was what was his name? His name just came out of my head. He scrapped 90% of what was written. So the original Quran was only canonized in 1924 or 26. The Quran that's been canonized.
Yeah.
But the ones they used, or back in the past, there were many different types, and so therefore the Quran has, and the didactics, the little marks, Becca, by just simply at the tail end, if you just do that, at the end becomes Mecca, and yet it's exactly the same. So they can easily, Mecca's mentioned. Muhammad's only mentioned once or twice in the Quran. Mecca's only mentioned once or twice, but they say Becca. No, Becca is not Mecca. It could be a translation issue, but there are many translation problems with the didactics, and they never used to use them in the early Quran with the vowels. And so there's all this, like the Bible. There's other gospels, that were Gospel of Philip, Gospel of Mary. There's other gospels of Stephen and stuff. And then, well, where are they gone? So, these books, like you said, they've been edited, passed down, and things. However, the values that come out of this is what's good about them. The Christian values, the Muslim values, like men not shaking hands with women. I don't agree with them covering from head to foot, having this. That is a man thing. That is not in the Quran. I'm sorry. The chador, the hijab, the chador, that is not Quranic text. That is not what it says. And I'll beg anybody who passes comments, and I'll say, well, I'll get you the verse. I'll get you the verse and where it says about the hijab. Hijab is not hijab. It means nothing to do with covering the head.
Action or a posture.
It's an action, or it's a situation where where the men lower your gaze. That's hijab. You've got a partition here between you and Muhammad's wife. That's hijab. Covering the body. Yes, modesty. Yeah, all for that. My missus, she dresses modestly. She doesn't wear the hijab unless she goes off to family, and where she wears the hijab. And very nice. I love it. I'm not against it. But when I don't like it is when they say that they have to do it. No, they do not have to. It's written in the Quran by men. 100%. 100%. But hijab doesn't mean to cover your head. And I can send you a video of a Muslim woman who explains this. And she's an Islamic woman, and she's gone to America. She used to have to wear the hijab, but she says it does not mean to cover the head. So but I mean, whatever. Yeah. Even though I'm not religious, I do find it interesting.
Sure, yeah.
I think it's
a
fascinating subject.
I mean, religion is part of sociology. I mean, psychology and the human experience.
Oh yeah.
By all means, it is fascinating. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah. It's a huge subject matter that creates a huge difference between cultures. The belief system, the Hindus have many gods. The Romans had a god for everything. Where's my scissors? Well, pray to my scissors god, And they had gods for everything. They're obsessed with gods and little trinket, where they used to have the mausoleums, and they used to go in there pray and leave a little, little trinket or whatever, a dog or something. They had gods for everything. And so, Judaism, Christianity come out of Judaism, not similar or the same, but Islam and Judaism. Islam came out of Judaism because that's what Muhammad took it up to Yathrib. So Christianity is not the same. They don't believe in Jesus as being the Son of God. And Judaism is the Old Testament.
Yeah.
And we're the new one. So there's the crossover there. And the fact is, they don't believe in Jesus being the Son of God. They don't think it's divine. A lot of people think, well, it was just a guy, just a man, just a bloke. And he probably was a nice guy, spreading the gospel. or spreading the kind word, be good to your neighbor, love thy neighbor, help each other, saying shit like this, well, it's not shit, you know what I mean? But being nice to people. And I think that's where we've lost it. And a lot of Midwest America and certain parts of other countries who are religious, I think they still hold them values. And
Yeah.
that's the good thing about it.
Yeah.
They've got these family values, love thy neighbor, help each other, whether
Yeah,
you
no.
think
I mean,
God
it took
wants
all
you
this,
to.
it took all this woke ass bullshit for me to recognize that, hey, you know what? Actually, there are some, I mean, some of these traditional, well, I mean, when you think about like different eras, like in America, but in the world, and like conservative, I used to think, when I'm younger, I was like, I want to dye my hair. I dyed my hair, and when I was wrestling, I dyed my hair purple. Our school team was purple. I did things that were, free and wild and stuff. It never went to the extreme that the wokeism culture did, but to somebody who maybe had understanding of what I was doing, what it could lead to. Like, I do feel like my era kind of beckoned in this, these ideologies were able to come in. They saw I feel my views actually kind of gave little openings for these ideas to come in. When I was doing it, it was like I was just expressing myself. I was being free. I was like, I don't want to be conservative. And girls sometimes, I remember at school, it was controversial how much cleavage a girl could show in high school. I mean, we were pretty free to wear whatever you want. But then if you take it to an extreme, it's like, well, now I understand these conservative Christian or these values that are like, present yourself. Maybe, you shouldn't go running around with short ass skirts and, but I mean, but it's all of these. I would have never been for that mentality, but now that I've seen how far it can go when we do just let ourselves just, sexuality become just, completely open and stuff, and it does degrade a society, unfortunately, and I admit that I wasn't quick to see it initially.
Yeah, well, I don't think the woke people can't be that religious because God created man and woman, so they obviously don't believe in that.
Oh, the wokeism isn't. It's anti. Yeah, it's. I mean, they're trying to undermine Christian values for sure, and that part was actually attractive to me initially, like, that, because it's like, yeah, no, you shouldn't be constricted by these somebody else's religious views. But then when it's taken to such an extreme, they've pushed me. Yeah, I've become. It's funny. I've become more conservative, but I'm conservative of the former liberal. Like, I want to conserve my liberal values.
Exactly. That's what
my liberal values. Everything that I stood for: freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of choice, holistic health, and your country first, not non-intervention in other people's affairs. All of these things were liberal peace values, and I want to conserve them. So in a sense, conservatism now is about conserving
liberalism. What it used to be. Yeah. It's funny that I'm not a conservative, but I believe in conserving liberalism, i.e., freedom of speech, freedom of choice, freedom of will, and even being able to disagree with someone else. I don't believe in religion, but I don't have a problem with religious people.
Yeah, that's freedom of press and speech and stuff are under attack. You can't. Your censorship is terrible. I don't see how anybody could be for pro censorship, but it's like that's what it's.
Do you know what I find fascinating is why they think like that. What makes you think like that? It's like you believe in God, well, okay. So I don't have an omniscience is everywhere, but if you believe in God, what makes you do that? What makes you believe it? What triggered that thought in your mind where you thought, I believe in Jesus? I believe in Christian values. I'm not a Christian, even though I was Christian as a Christian, but I do see it's slowly decimated. It's slowly falling apart. It's slowly disappearing. The values that we used to have are no longer with us because there's new cultures coming. This woke culture saying that you can be any pronoun, you can identify as you whatever you want to do, which is just absurdity. All they're doing is just making attention for themselves. It's like, just go and get a job, do something for the society instead of creating problems. Everybody's got to have a ring in the nose, to say, oh, I've got a ring in my nose. It's part of the culture. It's like a Rastafari having dreadlocks. Fair enough, I get it. But don't start slagging everybody off or putting people down just because they've got their own values. Remember, there was a life before you, and people have died for your freedom. And had they not died, you wouldn't even be doing this right now. And yet people have died for you, so you can do this. But how dare you expect us to simply just respect everything you say? I hear you, but I don't have to respect you. I don't have to believe you. I don't have to speak to you. But good luck. You want to be a he, she, we, they, may, whatever. Fine, off you go. I don't care what you are. I'm a he, I'm a male, got a dick. You haven't got one, so you're female. I don't care what you call yourself. You're not a man. You're not a trans woman that pretends to be a man. All right, if I punch you in the face, all right, you see yourself as a man, smack. Oh, what would happen then? Would I get arrested for hitting a woman? No, she identifies as a man. But this is the problem. It's only started with swimming. I think someone's banned it already, but that was bad enough. The guy there, Thomas.
Oh yeah, unacceptable.
Poor woman.
Yeah.
Trained 14 years, 14 years swimming, Olympics, blah 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 blah, and he just trashes her. And then she has to. Although and then what was it?
And then she was doing a speech at an American university in San Francisco or something, and then they like charged her and
I know
saying all these violent things. The police had to escort her into a room. She was like put in a room and like they're barricaded in for several hours waiting for police to arrive, but everyone was scared to attack because of the rioters or the people are an angry mob, and they were being physically violent, and nobody was, the campus security wasn't willing to intervene because they don't, these people are so violent and there's so many of them. If they would have to use force, they would be attacked, and they're just like, I got to stay out of this. We'll call the police. Police were getting attacked too, all kinds of things. Well, that's 3.5 hours. Nice.
Yeah,
I'm proud of you.
I'm gonna go soon. It's it's all right it's all right marching and fighting for your rights. I'm all for that. I don't deny that their right to do that. But it's things like BLM, Black Lives Matter. What have they done for the black folk? I said earlier, all they did is trash Ferguson, burnt their own places, and yet the so-called the saviors of the BLM, big mansions, cars, and what's all that about? They have done nothing. And this is what the woke culture is doing. They're not doing anything to progress humanity, being able to, adhesive society, to stick society together, to keep it, together, separating people all of a sudden, and stop using color. Say, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Oh, nice to see you. I'm Philip. No, blah, blah, blah. I'm white. Yeah, you can see that, can't you? You don't need to mention it. Do you not think I know that? I can see you're black. I don't care what color you're. I'm talking to you. I want to know who you are. I want to ask some questions. Nice to meet you. You're another human being. We are related. We're the same species. A dog is a dog is a dog. Just because they look different doesn't make them not a dog anymore. A cat's a cat's a cat. Most cats have several fathers when they're giving birth to kittens. It's not just the one cat. Hey, look at me, I'm a 6. They have several fathers, apparently. Didn't know that. Sure, you might want to look at that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, a human being is a human. It doesn't matter what you look like, what you dress, and what you believe, and what you are, and what you do as a job, or how many bloody kids you got, and where you live. Then who cares? You're another human being. So therefore, we are related. We are the same species, and the reason why we look different is because of climate. Where you live, the culture, the food you eat, the climate. the situation. You know what I mean? You grow up in a situation. You know, if you grow up in Harlem, well, you're going to have a probably, you know, bit of a harder time because you're in the tenements. You know, you're in a shitty housing. That's the problem. People aren't getting the chance to improve on themselves. They're not getting the chance to live in a nice place, like we said earlier. This is what people need: equality, not equity. This bloody equity. What bloody rubbish. Just say equal rights for people, humans, equality. Roof over your head, Maslow's hierarchical. Roof over your head, food, water, lighting, heating, love and affection. You don't need any more. Every human needs that. Basics. And yet you go on and look at the problems that we're causing. I want to be different. Well, be different, but leave me alone. You want to wear a dress and a wig and whatever, fine, do so. But don't start going about cultural appropriation. Well, when you got a black girl with blonde hair, your natural color, is it? Well, that's cultural appropriation, then, isn't it? Not really, because you're not blonde. If I get my hair with loads of dreadlocks and you know smoke weed and I follow Rastafari, then am I being culturally inappropriate? But I'm a Rastafarian. I follow Haile Selassie. That's my belief. If I want to be a Hindu, or you know, wear a bindi or whatever, you know what I mean. So why are people so bothered about cultural appropriation? If I want to dress like I want to dress, that's entirely up to me. You know, like last thing in America, guy had a brilliant. I'd say, how he never got beaten up. He had a big Mexican hat, a false moustache, and you know, and he went around with maracas, and he kept saying about, you know, do you like my outfit? And a lot of people saying, no, it's racist, you know, and it's what part of that? It's a bloody uniform. It's a costume. Halloween, you can't do this anymore. He went to Mexico, same outfit. And they were like, oh, you look great. Oh, we love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Says it all.
Yeah.
Says it all. You just want to make a song and dance about nothing because you want to be noticed. And you just want to cause problems. Bugger off. Leave me alone. Mexicans don't find it offensive. So why the hell should you? You know, I've had red hair and like Bill Burr. Ginger hair people for years have been picked on. Ginger, years. And the Celtics, you know, very hardy people. But I don't complain. I don't say, you know, I used to say ginger. My hair's not ginger, actually. My dad was ginger, but I didn't get the real ginger hair. But just ride it, go over it. Just meet it with humor.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Meet it with humor. Oh, you got red hair. I know. I gotta be watching it in the sun. I had a roofing job, like Bill Burr said. Being a mum's the hardest job in the world. He said, I thought being a roofer in July, redhead, was pretty tough. You know, sniper pinning you down in Afghanistan, easy. What's the problem? Being a mother's much harder. And he mimics and he uses sarcasm. That's what I like about him. He's one of the few comedians, unlike George Carlin, who's not with us.
Oh,
he's
George
one of the few comedians. Yeah, awesome. Unlike George Carlin. Oh, imagine what he'd be like now. Oh my God. Bill Burr, he really has a go. He's very culturally aware about black people because his missus is black, and he talks about the black people having all these nice clothes, and he said, I had to stop being friends. I couldn't keep up with them. I said I couldn't afford all the clothes because every time they used to see them, they had a bloody new outfit on and new sneakers, and he was completely said, I can't keep up with you guys. I can't keep up with you guys. I can be your friend, but I can't keep up with the clothing. But you know, he's great. He's very aware of things. You know, and he's a realist, and he's a humanist as well, and he's a great comedy performer as well. But no, it's great, mate. Keep smiling, be happy, stay happy. I'll keep you informed how I get on.
Fresh air, good food.
Yes,
for sure.
I'll be eating my usual good stuff. I'll be getting back onto it because I'm getting my energy back, and I'm getting my feelings. I've completely gone off certain foods, even
Yeah.
thinking about having. Oh God, Mrs. did me a fish soup. Oh, I said I can't eat it, love. And I
Yeah.
felt so bad. I said, I can't eat it, love. Oh, you know, and she has been my rock. She has been my rock, Lou has. And when we get a good woman like we have, you got to look after them. She means the world to me. Our kids do. They mean the world to us. You know, the fact is that, you know, we are lucky. Privileged, yes. I am now privileged with the person I'm with. Fighting this, I'm not a victim. It's something I have to deal with. And there are millions of people who are having to deal with it. And there are millions of people who are dying and worse off than me. You know, so I really put myself on a spectrum of I'm just another guy who's having to go through life. And whatever life throws at you, you just got to deal with it. What doesn't help are people like this who are being a little bit on the cruel side, not being honest with me, not giving me a fair break, and not being respectful. The fact is, all the time I've been here, and this is how you treat me. Very hurtful, more so than what I'm going through.
Wow. Powerful.
Absolutely more so than what I'm going through. I just I can't even explain what I feel about it. If I was a nutter, if I was an absolute nut and I flipped my lid and I got myself an AK-47, I might do some damage, but I don't think that's going to happen. But you can understand why people do, having access to
You did
guns.
say you're from the postal company, right? Or something.
They
You,
flip.
you
They
you know
flip.
that, right? About America, one of the first mass shootings that was a postal service worker. So we say, have you heard that? We use that phrase, go postal. Go postal means it was literally like before all the school shootings, it was a
Yeah.
post office man. He just fed up and just went into the office and just went postal. Yeah, that's how that phrase, yeah, that was.
I've got my own ammunition. It's coming from here and it comes out here.
Oh
And it
yeah, yeah.
won't kill you. It might upset you or piss you off or hurt your feelings, but you won't die from it. All right. So get over yourself and have a bit of empathy and stop treating people like you are, because I will defend myself. You know, no matter what. And yeah, I'm not looking for blame, not looking to point the finger. I just want you to just give me a break and say, oh no, we'll get your visa, blah 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 blah. And then I can sit and relax. Because Jube said, maybe Jube said the last result is probably better than before. And anyway, she said you might get a few months' notice before you get the last day. A few months' notice. I was called in on the 3rd of bloody July, and I was told at the end of the month. That's hardly a few months. So, are you actually communicating with each other?
Yeah.
How is it you think that's the problem? Don't you know the fact that I've been told already that I'm apparently finishing on the 31st? So what are you talking about? And this is, again, communication. They're in the communicative bloody business. And yet you can't seem to get it together yourselves. It's,
Yeah.
if it was so damn serious, it's almost laughable.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
really.
Sometimes you got to just, yeah.
Anyway, it's been
Yeah.
absolutely awesome.
Yeah. Keep in
Dr.
touch.
Chris.
Keep me updated. And
Yeah, I will do. I will do.
all right.
Again, it's been good today. Whatever you do with this is fine, whether you edit it, cut it down, fine also. However, it would be nice to keep you informed or keep you in touch, or be on here with a couple of guys, a couple of people.
Yeah. There's, yeah, I'm going to keep expanding.
Expand it a bit,
Yeah.
That
Planning
might
to
be good.
Yeah.
I want one,
Sure.
but get people involved, people who are involved, others and others. I'm with TEFL Q8. I get TEFL Q8. I've done some presentations with them. I
Okay.
did one not long ago using drama. I did mobile phones are harming human relationships, and I did allidiocentrism. That's allocentric and idiocentric. I put the concepts together to call allidiocentric, which
Oh.
means that you can work in a group, be an individual in that group, or simply work as an individual. So idiocentric is individual,
Yeah.
allocentric is all the group, and these are allocentric, collectivistic, like to work in a group, share the responsibility or not at all.
Yeah.
under the rug. However, that's why cultural differences, and that's why I did cultural, as it's part of sociology and that. So that's why I did that, because I was teaching it, and so that's what it is. Allidiocentric. It's being able to be an individual, work with a group, have your individualistic ideology within the group suggested, and so it's being able to be flexible and being able to work with people like here. They like group work. Other people like individual work. Chinese like to be on their own sometimes. And so knowing that, so I call it to be an allidiocentric teacher. Allidiocentric. ALLIDIO, CENTRIC. To be allidiocentric is to be able to be flexible.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's what I did with my doctorate.
Yeah, okay.
Allidiocentricm. And I took two words and created a concept, just like high context, low context. Edward T. Hall created that. High context, low context. Gert Hofstede, he did the collectivism, individualism with the different countries. And then, so they were the concepts that I took, the nuances. And then that was my doctorate. I did action research, and I did triangle. I did interviews, questionnaires, and observation. God, I was so happy when I finished.
Yeah.
And I was working at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's something else. And that's something else that they haven't taken into consideration.
Yeah.
And these guys go off and get paid. They be paid, and they get sabbatical leave.
Yeah.
I was doing my bloody job. Oh, honestly, I could go on and on. I know I can go on, but
Yeah.
It's been wonderful, and we'll have a more topical, focused one next time if you want to do something.
For sure. Yeah, I'm gonna do rounds, and then I think next time around I'm gonna I'm gonna pick one topic. I might, if like in a big event happens in the world, then I'm gonna maybe meet multiple people and then put it together, or like you said, at the same time even do something. So definitely keep me posted. I'll see you.
Language learning is good. Using film or using role play drama. I can get some people invited. If you pass me a link at some point, or you come up with a topic.
Yeah, this link. Yeah, for sure. I'm looking, branching out for sure. Who knows?
I know some nice people. I know some from the TEFL QA, some really, really nice people. And I could put it onto them and saying, is anybody interested in a good friend of mine, Dr. Chris David, is a psychologist. He's just, he's interested in language learning, and is anybody interested to come along and join the podcast? Because that's when you sort of elevate yourself on that purpose, by inviting other people, talk about language learning.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So keep it around that topical matter. Any other matter, you can say, all right, this week we're talking about politics.
Exactly, yeah. That's what I want to do. I want to kind of get introductions of people, and then that's what this first round is. The first one, these are the loquacious versions. One of mine actually went to 6 hours and 50 minutes because halfway through the thing, somebody else was like writing me, and I had just come on in, and these are the loquacious versions. Next, when I have a specific topic, I don't know exactly how I'll do it. Multiple people, or then something, kind of maybe put them all in one. I'll figure it out as I go, but I appreciate you coming on to this one, doing it big, and
it's been good.
Have a good night.
Really good. And it's good to see you. Love to your family. And again, I used to work with this guy, and he's now Dr. Chris David. Wonderful man, and he'll deserve every bit of it. So yes,
Dr. Galloway,
yes. Oh yeah, I got Dr. Phillip there. Oh, Dr. CD.
Yeah.
There you go. I got my bifocals on, so I'm a little bit like this. All right, mate.
All right, have a good night.
Love to your family and so on, mate. All the best.
My love to your family too. Bye.
Cheers, buddy. Take care, mate.